be viewed as a historic day, but I'll go ahead and preface it anyway with the following question. I'm going to start it out right out and just go ahead and dive into this. Trump has won. What next? That is going to be the theme of the show. Trump has won. What next? But let me go ahead and cover the monologue because that's what we do here. It's pretty clear that the Democratic Party, along with Kamala Harris, were soundly rejected. Whether it's the border, whether it's the economy, whether it's LGBTQ issues, predominantly with the transgender community, the Democrats got rejected pretty handily last night. Right now, Trump has 277 votes in the Electoral College. He has the popular vote. He has control of the Senate, most likely the House, and certainly at least 2 additional Supreme Court picks. This is a red wave literally by no stretch of the imagination. This is absolutely a strong red wave. Remember, Trump promised several years ago, if you vote for me, you're going to get tired of winning. You got to assume last night he lived up to that. You got to assume last night he delivered on that promise. Promises made, promises kept. When you look at how far to the right the Supreme Court is now, it's already 6-3 now. He's already picked that Charles riding the train. Appreciate that. To start the broadcast off right. Thank you. You gotta, right now it's already a 6-3, fairly far to the right Supreme Court majority. He will replace Clarence Thomas, Alito, and Roberts. Because Roberts, 69, Alito, 74, and Clarence Thomas is 75. They're all right-leaning justices. So he will get between 3, I'll say for safety's sake, 2 to 4 additional Supreme Court picks will go to Trump. 2 are virtually guaranteed. Roberts, Clarence Thomas, and Justice Alito, but he will likely replace Roberts too, so that's 3. Sotomayor will probably try to hang on. She's a Democratic Obama appointee, but Supreme Court could easily be 7-2, leaning right by the time 2028 rolls around. It could easily be 7-2. That's going to last a long, long time. That's going to be probably the rest of my life. You know, I'm in my early 50s. That'll probably be the rest of my life. And we'll deal with that. But I want to ask a few questions in the monologue before we continue on with the program and I start taking calls. I was up to 3 o'clock in the morning, so forgive if the audio that you're hearing sounds raspy. I'm up watching her get her ass kicked to the wee hours in the morning. Number one, this is something I've been hearing over and over again, even from some of my friends overseas, that the fact that Trump won in such a resounding way, what does that say about America? That Trump won by that strong of a victory? Were the Democrats fucking up that much? What does it say about America? We're going to talk about that. Second question, I'm really concerned, and I want to know the answer, and I'd love to hear from you folks as well. Will a second Trump's term be more or less divisive than the first one? Or maybe just simply more the same? That's important. Because I do believe if Trump's first term was not as divisive as it was, he would have been reelected the first time. I think he, on paper, deserved to be reelected in 2020. But his term was very divisive, and a lot of folks voted against him due to the tweets and the divisiveness as opposed to his policies and things like that. So I'm asking, do you believe Trump's second term will be more or less divisive than his first? Or is it more the same? Is it more of the same? Because, you know, a lot of folks are going to say, well, Trump's first term was divisive because they never gave him a chance on day one. They were constantly trying to impeach him. They were constantly trying to arrest. Well, he wasn't just sitting back, being an angel with a halo over his head while people were, he was fighting back. So that's where the divisiveness comes in. It was not like they were just punching on an innocent victim. He was punching a lot of people back too. So are we looking forward to more of that, or will we get less of that? Maybe Trump will take the high road or something like that. I want to ask you folks that question. And last but not least, what went wrong? What went wrong for the Democrats in Kamala Harris? That's a big, big defeat. It wasn't even competitive. Trump was leading the entire night. It was never close. Even though we knew ultimately Kamala Harris was going to win Washington, Oregon, and California. Those 3 states and 74 electoral college votes. Just those 3 states. Even though we knew that, she still was not in the race. She was trailing by a significant margin the whole night. It never even appeared optimistic. I think for a short time, she was leading in North Carolina, but she was losing in Virginia the whole time. And Virginia was not expected to be in play. She was losing in Minnesota for a large portion of that night. That was not expected to be in play. So she was never competitive throughout the night. Now, I want to ask, so what went wrong? Why did the Democrats lose by so much? Are the Democratic policies that repulsive to the American voter? Because keep in mind, Trump did better. Trump excelled in literally every demographic. Hispanics, African Americans, than he did the first time. His support actually went up. He actually did better in most of those categories. What happened? What happened? I mean, we've been constantly hearing negative commentary aimed at illegal immigrants, Hispanics. Some can debate Puerto Ricans, but yet the Hispanic community increased their support for Trump. So what happened? I'm going to go to the box. I want to hear from you folks because I'm baffled on some of this. I have a few opinions of my own on some of the others, but I will start out by saying this. I don't give a damn about the notion that if Trump had won, he wouldn't have conceded the election or he would have claimed fraud. I don't give a damn about it there. I do believe that's true. He was not going to concede to Kamala Harris. Right now, Kamala, I don't believe, has conceded to Trump. But I don't live or operate that way. At the end of the day, he is our president. I respect the office of commander-in-chief, and I want to give a resounding congratulations to Republicans, conservatives, and MAGA. You won. I don't give a damn how you got to that point. If you did it legally, you did it. And that's undeniable of what happened last night. There's a hell of a lot of Democrats that also were not favorable to Kamala Harris, and my guess is she got her ass kicked among independents. A victory is a victory. So I'm not going to go into the whole mindset of, yeah, they would have, tried to say you cheated. They would have never conceded. Like I said, I know Trump would have done that. But that's what I'm here for. I never had any intentions of doing that and certainly won't do it here. But as always, I'm going to go ahead and start taking the calls because I'm concerned. How you guys feeling today? Feeling good? Feeling rested? Feeling pissed off? Concerned? Scared? Frightened? I'm assuming among my audience, there's emotions from all of those levels. I'll ask before I take the first caller that you tap the screen. We need to get the likes up. It helps out the algorithm. It will bring in more MAGA because the program's always been MAGA friendly, but I want to talk to liberals today as well. I do want to talk to some liberals as well as always. So tap the screen, get the likes up. Same on YouTube. Feel free to smash that like button. We are also on YouTube. I'm going to go probably on Instagram shortly, but I'm going to start taking calls. I'm not even going to go in the comments yet. I'm going to go straight to the box. I'll talk to, starting out with Snuggles. Good evening, or good evening. I'm so used to being on in the wee hours of the night. But Snugs,
my friend, how you doing?
I'm doing good. And by the way, Philip Allen Kraken on YouTube, thanks for that super chat, says optimistic about the future.
Right.
How you feeling, Snugs? Thank you, Philip.
It's a great day today. Justice was served. I think we did great. I've been fighting for all these years, and Snuggles is winning. We always win. But you know what? Kamala did win. She's the projected winner for Ukraine as president. You guys did a great job. We transferred all those votes out to Ukraine. All the billions that we sent there, yeah, projected winner.
So even in victory, you're gonna take a swing at the person that lost.
Absolutely.
So then I'm just gonna. So would you taking a swing at the individual that lost? I'm just gonna skip straight to the second question I asked, and that is, right. Do you think Trump's term will be more or less divisive than the first?
I think it's going to be excellent for all of us.
That ain't what I asked you. I didn't say nothing about excellent. I said more or less. You could have a ton of money. You could have a great economy. You could have a secure border, but we could still be divided as hell. So I'm asking, are we going to be more or less divisive?
No, we're going to be less divisive.
And
I think there's a sensitivity issue on the Democrats. They're too sensitive these days. You guys got to get off the sensitivity and just live. Donald Trump's going to be okay. He was president before. You'll be fine.
What do you mean by sensitivity? What do you mean by sensitivity?
I think a lot of Democrats are sensitive. I think they just worry too much about things. He was president. We didn't have any problems. We did good. We had a lot of money.
So in the comments, King Mo is stating that you're already being divisive, talking about, she won for the Ukraine. What about that type of stuff? Do you think we're going to have more or less of that, the tweets, the name calling, the insults, the ridicule?
I mean, you guys put out a lot of rhetoric, so I just, in turn, give it back.
So that means more divisive then. You're talking about a back and forth.
It depends how much rhetoric. Now, you guys are starting to say that we cheated with the Russians on this election right now. It's in the news.
Yeah.
They're blaming for Russian interference. When are you guys going to stop with your Russian crap?
You do realize this time yesterday, Trump was claiming that there was being cheating and fraud going on too. I agree with what you're saying. I don't think the Russians had a damn thing to do with Kamala losing. She lost about too fucking much. She lost about too much. But
it's too much. Where are those 81 million votes too, by the way? We need to question that.
What do you mean?
Because Biden had 81 million. I don't believe that bullshit.
You had 4 years to prove it, Snugs. You had 4 years.
It just proved it with Kamala not getting 81 million.
Kamala's not Biden.
It don't matter.
Yeah, it does. Kamala had.
It don't matter. You're Democrats. Where's the 81 million people that should have came out? It doesn't matter who it was.
Maybe where's some of those. You're asking.
Don't make excuses.
No, you're not giving me a chance to answer the question. You asked, where's the 81 million? A lot of Democrats did not like how the Democrats handled the border under Biden. You're mentioning the economy. That's another legitimate concern. A lot of those 81 million decided not to re-vote for the Democrats.
Well, those 81 million didn't like Donald Trump because you guys have been giving us hell, all 81 million of you. Where have you been to just vote just to keep him out? Where's 81 million?
I answered the question. A lot of folks who voted for Biden do not like his performance over the last 4 years, and they didn't vote for him. Didn't vote for Kamala Harris as a follow-up.
Well, that's you because you're almost Republican. I'm talking about real Democrats.
How am I almost Republican?
That's worn out of the back. You wear it too much. Give me a break. I want to talk to a real Democrat. Look at that broke down head on the back.
No, you're not used to. You're not used to talking to somebody that's civil and don't fight with you all the damn time. I think the Democrats and Republicans need to understand we're all in this shit together. You're used to talking to people that, just like you, are going to toe your party line no matter what. I call balls and strikes no matter who the hell's pitching. You're used to talking to people who don't do that.
Well, are you happy right now? Because you seem happier. I don't think you're going to be living in your car anymore. I think you're going to be able to get back in your house, relax a little bit. And you can afford your gas. Bro, are you happy? Look at your smile.
Oh, my God.
Did you vote? And I want you to look at my eyes. Did you vote for Trump?
No, I did not.
You are such a liar, bro. You are such a liar, bro. Come on, bro.
It's too early for this shit, Snugs.
Liar I've seen in history, bro.
It's too fucking early for this. You got me cracking up over here. It's too early to be laughing like this.
Give me a break.
Now, I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning on this shit, so you killing me over here, Smalls. But
Look at him. You did it. Look at the comment section. You voted. You voted Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, handsome Republican voted.
Well, I'm going to tell you one of my biggest concerns, and it certainly is now that Trump has won, is that whole giving police immunity from prosecution. I know the right, I know MAGA has been trying to throw in the word qualified immunity and say he didn't mean this or he didn't mean that. Fact is, Trump himself has never properly explained that. And as someone who is indeed in my car all the damn time, I'm frightened about that. That in liberal cities, that scares me, man. We can talk about the economy, we can talk about the border and all things that are favorable to Trump,
Absolutely.
but that's scaring the shit out of me.
Well, just keep your registration like I do. I'm Hispanic. Keep your registration. Oh, I've been flagged.
For what? Okay. For
civic,
what?
Something civic integrity or something.
Oh my God!
But what really is that I'm a Hispanic, so I keep my registration, my driver's license, and everything above my visor.
That ain't got nothing to do with immunity. Snugs. That ain't got nothing to do with immunity.
Don't ask them questions. Just give them your license and registration. If you got nothing to hide, you'll be fine.
You realize how many people have been stopped by police, had nothing to hide, complied?
I don't see a lot of that on the news. I don't see a lot of that.
No, because it doesn't make the news. The news is looking for sensationalism, like people that got shot and beat up. You can get pulled over by police. It on the news during a Trump administration a lot of times, but it didn't make it on the news during a Biden administration. Looks like it's fixed. So you're okay with police having immunity?
No, I'm not okay with that. They just got to investigate each case. Right. You know, we can't prevent anything from happening or anything. We just got to make sure we know each case.
And you're okay
with that? If they were too aggressive, they can get sued. So they got to go by internal affairs and get.
What does you're saying they can get sued? What does immunity mean to you?
Well, they can get investigated first. There has to be an investigation.
If you got immunity, you got immunity. What are you talking about?
No, you still have to be investigated for what you did wrong before you get immunity for what you did.
Okay. I don't take it that way.
If there's a criminal aspect, they're not going to give you immunity if there's a criminal aspect to it.
So what do you think he means by giving police immunity from prosecution? What is your definition? What do you think he is suggesting that police can be prosecuted for right now, that if he is president, they will have immunity from that? What is he talking about, in your opinion?
Well, I really don't know.
And that's why I'm scared, is that we don't fucking know. That answer right there is why people are fighting.
Were you scared for the 4 years he was president? You think he's really going to attack that?
I don't like the idea that I'm praying and hoping that the guy who won office don't do what he promised. We're actually hoping he don't do it.
I think you're being a little scared bitch right now. I think you're going to be fine. You're an adult. Nobody's going to bother you. Look at the way your height is, bro. You're
the fact that I'm 6 foot. The fact that I'm 6'6", 300 pounds gives you more justification to shoot my black ass. I should be the one that's scared. There's more justification to kill me.
You're a very kind person. I don't see you being like, I see you rolling down your window. Hello, sir. Yes, sir. Come on.
All right, I gotta move it on, Snugs. We obviously disagree on that.
We won together. I'm glad you voted for Donald Trump, and we worked together on this very greatly, and we had a good few years together. I am looking forward to more years of having fun with you.
Congratulations. I gotta go. Snugs. Appreciate it. Right. Good talk, Snugs. All right, move it. He was still. I'm intimidated by the host. Intimidated how? Damien, well, yeah, if you got a badge on, that might be a good reason to use an excuse to take me out. If a critical incident happens with the cop, they have to deal with internal affairs, criminal prosecution, and civil. Like I said, the fact that we all got to toss around that shit and try to explain it and make it make sense is the biggest concern. He was not clear on that. So some folks are saying, well, he meant this. Maybe he meant qualified immunity. Maybe he meant protection from frivolous lawsuits. By the way, being sued in a frivolous lawsuit is a civil matter. You don't get prosecuted for a lawsuit. So it ain't got nothing to do with being sued. He said immunity from prosecution. That means something. You don't get prosecuted unless you committed a crime. You don't get, if somebody sue you for cash, that's not a prosecution. You don't walk in there thinking you may go to jail. So that ain't got nothing to do with frivolous lawsuits. That's a whole different ballgame. But like I said, I'm concerned from the aspect of what is he saying that you right now will get prosecuted for? That if I'm president, I'm going to give them immunity so they can do that without being prosecuted. We don't know that. If you defend Trump, you're going to fill in the blanks with something that's favorable. If you don't like Trump, you're going to come up with something that's more critical. But you don't have a clear picture. For me, that's frightening. Tap the screen. I was a cop for 25 years. You're constantly being scrutinized. Being scrutinized is different than being prosecuted. Even as a cop for 25 years, yourself in the comments, sir, and thank you for your service, Lisa. Even as you being a cop, what is he talking about in your opinion as former law enforcement that you normally would have gotten prosecuted for, that he believes you should now be able to do and be immune from prosecution. What is he talking about they should be able to do? There's no clear answer on that. Looking in the comments, and they already have qualified immunity for civil prosecution. So what the hell is Trump saying about immunity? Yeah, there's no clear answer on that. Going to the box. Carlos, I don't know how to pronounce that. We'll just go with Carlos Quintiana. Good afternoon. Better yet, good morning. My time schedule's off. Good morning, Carlos.
Man, I must be lucky because every time I try to get in your box, I get in it right away.
You know how many times I have used that line on ex-girlfriends and it failed. But what brought you up today?
I'm going to tell you what, man. I'm a 68-year-old veteran, Mexican, 39-year federal service, Democrat. And all I can say is I waited till 10 o'clock this morning before I even turned the TV on. I shut it off. Was watching Netflix and from about 4 o'clock yesterday, and then I didn't turn the TV on until about 10:30. Mm-hmm. But I tell you, I'm heartbroken because of the way he performed, and he was won by this much. It shows the heart of America. I took my American flag down this morning so that I have 55 houses in my addition. The addition's 60 years old. It's a predominantly Republican neighborhood. I know that because I was a ward chair here for years. But anyway, that's my protest. In other words, they're going to say like I said, I took my American flag down because this is America, and so like I said, I'm heartbroken, and I'm not talking to nobody, and I don't want to talk to nobody because, and like I said. How he won by this much? He won
by a lot. He won by. This is the definition of winning by a landslide. He won by a lot.
So did we lose both houses, or the other house, or
he won control of the Senate, likely control of Congress. He already has 3 Supreme Court picks on that 6-3 majority. He will get anywhere between 2 and 4 more additional Supreme Court picks.
Those other 3 people will be stepping down and retiring.
Yeah. Because
I tell you what. I will bet this. I don't think he'll last 4 years because of his health. Okay, slamming them cheeseburgers, and like it says,
But is that a good thing or a bad thing for America if Trump didn't finish his term?
Well, who knows? Because what's his name? I don't know. I think he's a turncoat. I think if Vance was to become the president, I think he wouldn't be as hardcore as he is now. Okay. Yeah. And I'm just going to say that based on I'm the ex-Marine that he was in the Marine Corps, right?
Uh-huh.
So anyway, always being a registered voter and voting and keeping abreast as much as I could in politics, my heart is broken because giving a microphone a blowjob, calling America garbage, and all the things that he said, caused Americans to vote against Kamala Harris. And now some could say because she's a woman, some could say because she's black.
Well, some are saying in defense, in defense of the Republicans, some are saying that Kamala Harris did a horrible job in promoting her agenda, answering questions, taking interviews. Did you see any of that? I mean, how do you think she was how was she as a candidate? How was she to you?
My opinion was that was the media slamming her because I watched her and I thought she did a good job. I remember when she was running for president, and I thought she's going to have to shake off some of that because she still had a little bit of that, blackness, if you will, black woman, kind of like a mad black woman.
Well, speaking of her having a blackness, I had an African American call in on the show last night, and he said that's primarily the reason he did not vote for her is because she started suddenly saying she was black when she used to go across as Indian. Did any of that racial stuff on Kamala affect you at all?
No, I mean, to me, she worked her way up. Ran. 8 years ago, didn't make it, and then got selected by Biden to be the vice president. She probably was more involved or maybe not as much as Biden when he was vice president for Obama. But I mean, you know, everything they said. In other words, she wasn't the border czar. She was never appointed somebody to oversee the. So these people bought everything that he said. So that's America.
Yeah. Now I got a viewer on YouTube is saying, get ready for American isolationism, suggesting we're going to bow to Putin. How do you think that whole Ukraine Russia, do you see where Trump may start bowing down to people who used to be considered our adversaries?
Well, let me tell you that. You can define it how you want it, but he's going to pull back on support for Ukraine, and Putin's going to go in there and take it over. And because Trump doesn't care. I think he is a soulless man to me, you know, and I just hope that somebody, hey, FBI, call me if you want. I just hope somebody else is more successful than the other two.
I know what you're talking about, the whole ear fiasco. You're saying you wish that round had been a little bit closer to his skull.
I wish it'd been a Marine doing it. How's that? You know, I mean, if he could sit there and tell the what's her name from Wisconsin, you know, or Wyoming that, you know, guns.
Liz Cheney.
Yeah, you know, so.
Wow.
Or Ted Nugent saying that he's going to shoot Obama himself or some shit like that and never spend a day in jail.
So now I'm asking, what I've been asking the callers is, under his second term, will we be less divisive or more divisive, or will it be more of the same? Now you're calling for the man to lose his life. Are you not being divisive?
He's going to be more divisive. It's his nature.
But you just called for the man to be executed, essentially.
No. I just hope that somebody else who makes an attempt. Obama had attempts on his life all the time. We just didn't hear about it.
You're hoping. Your word is, I hope somebody does that.
Yeah, I hope somebody does that.
Why would you want that?
Because he brings the hate out of me. How's that?
Well, you're being honest. All right, I'll leave it at that. Wow. So no chance for unity in America, no chance for a good economy and more things favorable. I
can't be united with people that when I went and voted yesterday, I noticed one thing: there was no Trump signs or Harris signs out in front of my precinct. And I remember this one woman walking out there. She looked like a Trumper, about 45 years old, probably a grandma when she was 20.
What does a Trumper look like? You said she looked like a Trumper.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm talking about. Look in the background of this. So, anyways, and she's going, and I said, I kind of said out loud, I said, that's kind of strange. There's no Trump signs or Harris signs. And then she went with her hand in the air like a power sign. It's like, Trump's going to win. And I thought to myself, you know, I'm under my breath in your dreams, you know, because there was a part of me that really, I was worried.
Right.
But a part of me that I really thought when I got up this morning, I had this feeling that she won. And when I turned that fucking TV on and seen that, I thought, oh my God. You know,
I gotta move on, but you went to bed, you said at 10 o'clock last night?
No. I went to bed, yeah. I didn't, but I had the TV off. I was watching Netflix. Okay. I stayed away from it.
All right, okay, because I was about to say, if you went to bed at 10 o'clock and had been watching this, you would have never woke up thinking she won. You would have went to bed at 10 o'clock saying, man, I really hope that shit turned around. She was never in the league. She was never in the league.
The only contact I had, a retired buddy from the post office, lives in Florida. He texted me. He said he was in his bedroom and his wife's watching TV. He said, I'm nervous as hell. And I said, and I told him what I told you. I said, I've had the social media off and, you know, and everything. I even told him, because we were going back and forth. I said, hey, man, I'm done talking. Good night. And then I went on, watched TV and went to sleep whenever I went. But I got about 8 o'clock to let the dogs out this morning, but I didn't have no TV on. Laid back down, watched a little YouTube podcast from comedians. But anyways, so when I finally got out of bed at 10:30 this morning, then I said, all right, turn the TV on. And then there it was, Trump projected winner. And I thought, God. So, yeah, I don't know, man, I tell you.
Well, that is our 47th president. I got to move it on. I appreciate you coming through, Carlos. Try not to say that out loud, that you hope somebody take the man or try to take the man's life. That's pretty rough. But my door's always open to you, Carlos.
But he's said worse.
How,
Has he not? Can a Mexican veteran, 68 years old, say that?
yeah, look, at the end of the day, I'm not going to deny the fact that Trump said some pretty harsh stuff, but I don't know if calling for the same thing back at him really moves the agenda forward. I mean, I'm not going to deny it. Trump has said a lot of awful things about people.
It. If it happens, I'll be laughing my ass off. How's that?
I gotta go, Carlos.
All right, brother.
All right, wow, that's true sentiment. That's an American voter, veteran. He's Hispanic. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 30,000. You know how the program works. For folks on YouTube that are asking, how do you call in? Unfortunately, the only way I can make this work is you have to call in through TikTok. So you're hearing the audio from the program on TikTok. I am reading your comments on YouTube though, but if you want to actually be a caller, you have to go to the Handsome Liberal on TikTok. We are also vertical and horizontal on YouTube. For my horizontal audience, feel free to smash that like button on YouTube. For you guys that are on the horizontal feed, I need to get the likes up because I'm trying that for the first time. I've been trying it on Instagram, haven't had a lot of success, so I'm trying it on all three platforms this way. Leo Lyon says, thank you, Carlos. So he's favorable to what my last guest was saying. Going back to the box, what does it say? Black Rain says he will take credit for the next 2 years of good economy. Then he will tank it with tariffs. So in other words, the suggestion is that Trump has inherited what you're saying is a good Biden economy right now. The economy has improved under Biden. Is it good? You ask various Americans, they'll give you a difference of opinion, but you're saying he inherited a decent economy from Biden and he's going to fuck it up with the tariffs. This is what a lot of liberals think, that, the economy is always good under Democrats, and then a Republican comes along and tears it up until another Democrat comes along and corrects it. We'll see. Going back to the box, appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. Get us around 30,000 on the likes. Tap the screen, get the likes up to about 30,000. Continuing on with the program, I do want to, my subscribers always get first digs. I will bring up Black Wing Zero for life. Good, my time. I'm going to keep saying the wrong time because I'm used to being on later, but Black Wing.
What's going on? What's going on?
Well, yeah, that's what I would ask you that.
Let this country burn. Let this country burn. There was no peace under Trump during his 2016. There were none.
Why
because
so?
Guess what? Y'all say they always say there was no orders under Trump, but guess what? They never talk about Charlottesville. They never talk about the mass unaliving. They never talk about basically the damn racial war that happened in this country. But every time we bring this up, we're the victims.
Why would you want that, though? Why would you want the country to burn?
Oh, no, it's been burning. It's been burning. They blame Black Lives Matter for everything. I don't want to go like this. Instead of basing finding a solution to police brutality, they want to blame the basic people that's complaining about it. Tell me I'm wrong.
No.
And let me say this. And let me say this. And I'm gonna ask this to every Trump supporter in this live. I'm an inner city school teacher. I teach in Oakland Unified School District. I am a teacher.
Hang on. I I would not give those credentials out. You're actually saying let America burn, and you're giving these credentials out.
Liberal. We got rid of here's the thing. With Trump, we got rid of the Department of Education. Guess what? What came with dismantling of the Department of Education? Brown versus the Board of Education, right?
Yeah.
So that means segregation will be in this country, right? Because that was the first thing that gets segregated was education. The first thing that they want to leave it to the states, fine, leave it to the states. We already warned you.
Yeah.
Jim Crow would be inevitable.
I get your. Hold on, hang on.
I really want to no. Answer my question. Would you, if you had school choice, would you send your child to an inner city school?
No.
For anybody in the chat, if you had a choice to basically because y'all bring up Chicago a lot, would you send your child to an old black school? Now, mind you, there are a lot of inner cities than there are suburbs. Let's keep it real. Do the math. There's more inner cities than there are suburbs, right?
Yeah.
So, here's the problem I'm having. I
teach ISS students that's in school suspension. I talked to a parent. This is what I can't understand. I talked to a parent that said this, right? Oh, let's teach him a trade. Yo, let's make him a field hand. Oh, yeah, that worked out just fine. That worked out just fine for black people because we've been hearing that for years.
And I see in the comments, L Captain 813 says segregation would not be a bad thing. Is that what we're headed for, in your opinion, Black Wing?
Exactly. Your boys in the chat just proved my point. Not only that, it's just proving the fact that a convicted felon can be a president as long as he's rich and white.
What does it say about America that we elected him?
So I'm literally, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Let this country burn. Y'all forget about Charlottesville. Y'all forget about the mass unaliving that happened under his watch. Y'all forget about C-19. Y'all forget about basically everything that, y'all forget about every racial group that happened under his watch.
But you saying y'all, you gotta take in consideration. He did. Wait, hold on. We gotta have a conversation. You gotta take in consideration while you're talking about y'all. More blacks, more Hispanics, more minorities. Why?
And that's the problem. Most black dudes that most black dudes that basically voted for Trump didn't want to pay child support. That's a social service. More Latinos. Let's keep it real.
He didn't even promise that. He didn't promise nothing like that.
Let's keep it real. Okay, here's the thing though. Why would I vote for a president that want to give full money to police officers that don't do their job correctly? That means I'm not calling the police ever in life. Because guess what? We just had a dude get unalived in Florida for calling the police for doing his trespassing on his lawn. So
let me ask you this. How do you respond to African Americans or minorities or Hispanics that say, look.
Fuck him. Before you even get, fuck him. If you're wearing that hat, here's the thing though. Let me say this. Liberal, I talked about that hat right behind you, right?
Yes.
When's the again part? In the last 4 years, when's the again part?
Again could mean when we say make America great again, it could. Hold on, you're not letting you're asking me questions and not allowing me to answer. When he say make America great again, he could be talking about getting rid of the failing Biden economy and going back to what we were doing between 2016 and 2020.
Inflation. Dude, here's the thing. Let me say this real talk. We're paying Trump's taxes. We're literally in Trump's tax bracket. We're literally basically under Biden's basic administration. Biden's administration when it came down to basic inflation. Inflation's at a 2.4. We're the lowest in the world. So I'm literally going this. When 400,000 jobs came back to this country because Biden signed a Paris Agreement, Trump is going to renege on that. Everything with Biden's name on it, he's going to renege on. And let me say this for real talk. For anybody saying that HBCU funny, Biden gave him $7.1 billion. Trump gave him $54 million. That's a proven fact. If you don't believe me, ask the Department of Education that you want to defund. Okay. Do you
believe you have voter supremacy where you do realize a lot of black people disagree with you.
Every prop in my state failed. Every prop that basically in my state in California failed. It was basically for gay marriage, raising the minimum wage, lowering the damn renters cap, and basically putting a renters cap on them. All of them failed. Every single last one of them will say no. Every single last one of them. Every one of my district, everybody's a Republican now. My damn mayor, Xing Wu, is still in office. And she was recalled.
So you want divisiveness?
I want this country to burn. You know what I'm about to do? I'm about to just watch. Because let me say this, liberal. Am I speaking divisive when basically a lot of people were saying blood and soil with damn tiki torches in their hands for a statue that didn't mean shit for them?
I can't believe you gave you.
Or should I bring up the fact that basically, or should I bring up the fact that police brutality? We've been saying it since 1989, and we have had many riots between the time, and they still haven't learned their lesson.
In my comment section,
what's the point of a body cam if cops got full immunity from doing anything they want to do?
In my comment section, Tara is saying you are filled with hate. How do you respond to folks who hear what you're saying as a teacher yourself, calling for the burning of America? How do you respond to that? People think you're hateful.
Oh, they burned it during history. Didn't they burn it during Jan 6? So how am I supporting hating? Y'all was the one that basically invaded the Capitol building. Y'all the ones that basically said, hang Mike Pence, hang Nancy Pelosi. Y'all the ones that basically went up to the Capitol and endangered every single person in that House and that Senate.
Last question before I move it on. You've been pretty passionate here. I can't pronounce the name. Chiva says, go to another country if you say this country should burn. Go to your great grandmother's hometown.
I'm a sit down here. I'm gonna sit down here and watch this country burn.
Are you going to light any matches? Will you be lighting any matches?
I'm gonna get a lawn chair. I'm gonna get a lawn chair, sit on right in front of my apartment, and watch everything burn in flames.
Then that means it's in your neighborhood. That means it's in your neighborhood if you're doing it. I gotta move on.
No, I'm not just talking about that neighborhood. I'm talking about everybody else. Everybody else. I'm going like this. Y'all think this country was together when Trump was president? Prove me wrong.
Wow.
Prove me wrong. Y'all keep on saying we're the victims when black people are saying there is a problem with racism, segregation, police brutality, apartheid, all that stuff. We keep on saying these problems since the 60s, but y'all still saying the fact that we're the victims. It takes a victimizer to become a victim. Am I wrong or am I right?
So it's safe to say you're not really happy with what happened last night.
Here's the thing. Let me leave it at this. You can leave it at this. A convicted felon won the presidency. So let me tell you this right now. Since that happened, take felonies off of every job application in America. Take felonies off of every apartment in America. Take felony off of everything. Felonies doesn't exist since one rich white dude became president and he's a felon. We might as well let the Menendez brothers.
I gotta go.
He want to make Herschel Walker Department of Defense. I would hope you know that he gave him the codes.
Oh my God.
Which are werewolves and vampires have an ass.
Blackwing, passion indeed. Appreciate you coming through. And folks, as I say all the time on the program, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. I see a lot of folks, let them go. Now, obviously we don't want TikTok, because I don't block, ban, or censor anyone, but sometimes the TikTok gods can do their own thing. So, but I do believe in letting folks speak. We go left of Bernie Sanders to having dinner with Q. That's been our motto from day one. So we do believe in free speech. You're not going to hear opinions you always agree with on the program. We let everyone speak. You can be critical of anyone in the comment section up to and including the host. That's how we run it. So if you favor that type of dialogue politically where all sides get to speak, I'd invite you to follow the program on TikTok and subscription on YouTube, if you will. Nevertheless, that was passionate lingo. I see in the comments, Philip Allen McCracken, thank you for the super chat, says, let go of the anger, brother. Let love and peace in. That's what we're talking about today. Second, I always run through the monologue and give you a couple questions, but that second question I'm still asking is, do you believe a second term for Trump will be less divisive, more divisive, or will it be more the same? Now, I'm also asking the question of, what does a Trump victory say about America? Maybe that Trump was a great president. Maybe that Kamala Harris was a bad candidate. Maybe that there are some liberal policies people just do not want for the direction of this country. And last but not least, what went wrong for Kamala and the Democrats? That was a resounding defeat. Wasn't close. She was not competitive. She got her ass kicked, for lack of a better term. It was never competitive. I watched that whole thing. I was up till 3 a.m. watching ABC and CNN refuse to admit the obvious. And I stated while I was on live that if this was Kamala Harris this far in the lead, they would have been calling her the president-elect 2 hours ago. There are networks that are still kind of hesitant to call Trump the president. He won. Whether you like it or not, I have my reservations, but he won. Nevertheless, let me go back to the box. What went wrong? What went wrong was that she did in office for the last term, says Christina's Dream Creations. You said what went wrong was what she did in office for the last term. She's vice president. I mean, I still don't get that, why she got accused of not doing so. Vice presidents don't do all of that. Now, J.D. Vance is VP. I don't know how much he's going to accomplish. Now, he might accomplish more than Kamala Harris because of just the old mechanics behind it. But Mike Pence didn't accomplish a lot as vice president. Let me go back to the box. She wasn't a likable character, says Lee Davis. I believe there's validity to that. I actually believe that. Even in the black community, her having a white husband may have had something to do with it. There's a lot of misogyny in the black community, her being a woman. I've had viewers come on and tell me a real man would never vote for a woman as president. The misogyny was real. It ain't just, her. Some of it has to do with her gender. Maybe there was something to do with her race, but absolutely something to do with the Democratic Party and the policies of Democrats. Not to mention she performed poorly in a host of interviews. Will G, thank you for the super chat. Will G says Trump was banking on amnesia. If Trump had that Men in Black memory, remember the whole Men in Black, the movie with Will Smith and I can't think, Tommy Lee Jones, they hold up the stick and it makes your memory go away. Will G says Trump was banking on American amnesia. If Trump had the Men in Black memory loss flash device, he would have used it when COVID-19 happened. True, because before COVID-19, Trump actually was performing rather well. The COVID-19 is what kind of tanked the economy. I mean, I said it before in the program, in my opinion. Trump deserved a second term in 2020. It was just COVID-19, and he was very divisive. He was very divisive, which is why I'm asking, do you think he'll be divisive now? Going back to the box, my last caller really let it fly. Tara, Chote, how am I pronouncing that? Tara?
Choke like boat.
Okay, choke like boat. So, what does Trump's victory say about America in your opinion?
I voted Trump, and I think the economy will improve because of it. He's a businessman, and he has been bankrupt before, and he's come back from it.
Been bankrupt a lot. He's been bankrupt a lot.
Yeah. He was handed a business. He's been bankrupt, and I think nobody's perfect. His golf enterprises was his comeback. His hotels obviously was not a good idea. And casinos was not a good idea. So that's where he is not doing good. But his golf enterprises is where he did fine in. And
so for you, the main issue was indeed the economy.
Yes, the main issue was the economy, and strengthening our military is very important, obviously, especially with what we got going on in our war going on. That is very important, and I do not think that Harris can stand toe-to-toe to Putin.
So, but Trump is not talking about standing toe-to-toe. He's talking about focusing on America first, nationalism, being more of an isolated country. He's pretty much saying, I'm going to let Putin do whatever the hell he wants. I'm getting out of this stuff.
Well, I'm saying if worse comes to worse.
Well, what do you mean? If Putin invades America or something?
Well, the thing is, with them trying to make a one world currency, they're trying to get together, and that's not going to bode well for America.
Where have you heard there's an effort to make a one world currency? So she's talking about $1 or 1 unit of currency for everybody in the world. Okay, I don't know if she got a phone call or something. We'll give her a second. I've never heard of that. Okay.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I forget what the name is, but they're getting, Russia is getting with China and the other Asian countries. They're coming together and they're making what's the name? I forget what the name is, but they're trying to make a digital currency and put America on BRICS. That it's in the name, BRICS. It's called BRICS, and put America off the map. Yeah.
Well, I can understand trying to compete with the American dollar and being sick of America being on top of everything, but how is Trump going to stop that?
That's a good question, and I think Trump is probably a better choice than Harris to be able to stop that.
But you don't know how he would be able to accomplish it.
I would not, but Trump would. Personally, okay. I would not, but I believe Trump probably is in the makings of a plan on doing that.
So but how does that coincide with Trump promising to get out of overseas conflicts and focus on America at home? A lot of things you're saying require him to do just the opposite. The stuff you're saying requires Trump to get involved with a lot of stuff. Because if he focuses on America and only, America first and isolationism, then you're kind of saying, I'm going to lead the rest of the world to its own devices. What you're saying is he's not going to do that.
Well, at first, he's probably going to focus on doing America in the first year to 2 years.
You only get 4.
He needs to focus on America. And, well, no, actually, probably he needs to start working on cooling down the wars and then focus on America.
How does he cool down? That's what I'm saying. How does he cool down the wars when he's promising to get out of overseas conflicts? What is he going to be able to do if let's say he gets the war in Ukraine and Russia to end? How did you do that? You don't just get up and say, you guys need to stop fighting. They don't both lost tens of thousands of soldiers. Why the hell would they listen to Trump?
Trump sent a picture of the guy's house over in, what was it?
In the Middle East. I'm aware of that.
In the Middle East, yeah.
But that means
that's how he got him to stop.
So you're saying he's going to threaten Putin and Zelensky into ending the war by sending them a picture of their house?
No, probably through money. Say he's going to stop funding or something like that.
He's already said that. But if he stops, because we're only
might be through oil.
We're only funding one side of the Russia-Ukraine war, and that's the Ukrainians. If he stops funding the Ukrainians, you think that's going to end the war?
No, that's not going to end the war.
So what is he going to do to end that war that he's promising he could do?
It could make some kind of deal.
So he's not getting out of overseas conflicts, he's getting in them. For him to make a deal to get them to end that war, it's going to require America to give something, such as the Ukrainian...
Treaty?
Huh?
He could propose a peace treaty.
Yeah, but why would they agree to be at peace with each other? Right now, Ukraine's, their entire infrastructure is destroyed. They need housing, they need their entire country rebuilt. We're talking about we're not going to give them any money at all. So why would the Ukrainians listen to us?
That I do not know. That I do not know because I am not president and Trump is.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying.
You're not asking the right person.
Okay. But you do. So in other words, you don't know, but what you're saying is essentially you have blind faith that he will do right.
I have blind faith that Trump is a better choice than Harris to do a better job.
Okay, fair enough. And that's a fair point to make. I think a lot of folks are like you, but so you have faith that he's better than Kamala Harris, but you're not really sure what the hell he's going to do. You just think whatever he does, it might be better than Harris.
Yes, he did a better job at keeping more peace and stopping the what was going on during his term, and he kept more peace during his term. That's what I saw. So I think he can do a better job in negotiating at this point. And the economics were further down, the gas prices, and I believe in doing our own oil and gas and all that. That is a very good thing. And Harris has also, it's been proven that she says one thing and changes her mind on another thing.
Well, in regards to Harris being a flip-flopper, saying one thing and then doing the other, in my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong, the only way Trump can do what you're suggesting overseas by ending wars and things like that is for him to have said one thing and do another. He has said, I'm going to get us out of overseas conflicts. I'm going to stop giving money and our resources and our military equipment to other countries. But somehow the war is going to end. The only way he's going to end that war is to do the opposite of what he's promised. If that war ends in 24 hours like Trump has promised, the first question everybody would be asking is, what did you give them? They're not going to just stop fighting on their own. You had to have done something for them. So for him to say, I'm going to get us out of these conflicts, the only way he can do what he's promising is to get us into the conflict, whether by finances, helping somebody out financially, or doing what you suggested, sending somebody a picture of their home and threatening to bomb them. But he's involved in it.
Well, then that means he has some kind of plan that he has told us that he has stopped it, and he's got some kind of plan backed up. If he says that he's doing it this way, then he's probably going to do it that way. He has said that he's going to do it this way, and he's always done it that way, right?
Perhaps. I'm not for sure of that. I'm not for sure.
It's either deviated just a small amount because he's been pushed that way by the Democrats. Is that right?
Democrats
He's been pushed that way to do it a different way by the Democrat Senate Party, or he's going to do it that way because he said that's how he's going to do it. Now that the Senate is mainly Republican, he's able to do it the way he needs to do it. He said he's going to do it this way. He's going to do it that. That means he's got plans set in motion. So if he's going to do it that way, he's going to do it that way.
All right, fair enough. Congratulations on your win. I got to move it on, Tara. Cho, thanks for coming through.
All right, thank you.
You too. All right, moving on to the program. Will G, NATO is gone. Ukraine is gone. Palestine, West Bank, gone. Migration will be non-existent because Trump will do something to make migrants not come at all with his Saw games and in internment camps. Wow. So you're saying Saw like the horror movie Saw? And internment camps. The American dream will die. Wow. That's, in regards to Trump, I don't know if the American dream will die, but I do believe the dream of coming to America and enjoying that dream will die for, I mean, at the end of the day, he's promising to be really strict on immigration. So for folks wanting to migrate here and pursue the American dream, it will die for them. I do believe that. But for us that are already born and raised in the country, I don't know about that. But yeah, for people that are overseas, it's over with for a lot of people. Won't see me voting anymore. It says, make me king. What do you mean? You think Trump's going to take away your right to vote? Tap the screen. Get your boy up to 40,000 on the likes. Show your boy some love. Appreciate you folks that are tuning in. Certainly smash that like button on YouTube, but on TikTok, tap the screen, get the likes up. Same on my horizontal feed. I don't know. The sun is coming in here, so the Black Sea never freezes over. I don't know what you mean by that, Freddie, on YouTube. I do want to respond to some of my horizontal YouTubers because I'm trying horizontal for the first time. Yes, they have ports in Crimea, but they freeze in winter. I guess you guys, I mean, because you're talking amongst each other, but I do wonder, how can Trump end that Russia-Ukraine war other than to say we're no longer going to help the Ukrainians and pretty much let the Russians have their way with Ukraine? Other than that, the only way to end it is you're going to have to give some things. He could financially do a little bit for Russia and also help, because at the end of the day, Ukraine needs their country rebuilt. They've been bombed out. They don't look as bad as Gaza all over, but in some places they do. I mean, all of that shit needs to be rebuilt. The Palestinians have the same experience. They're going to need a whole nother country built. Trump promising not to get involved in any of that stuff. You know that Netanyahu ain't going to rebuild the country he bombed. So the Israelis are not going to rebuild the damage they've did in Palestine. And folks will say after what happened to them on October 7th, why would anybody expect them to rebuild the Palestinian nation? I don't think, that's where I think Kamala Harris or the Biden administration would have been more favorable to continuing to send money overseas to help the Palestinians have a place to live. I don't think you're going to get that out of Trump, and I think a lot of Trump supporters are totally fine with that. They prefer that. Let me go back to the box. Dencal, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. One of my subscribers as always. Dencal, how are you feeling this morning, Dencal? I know you were riding with Kamala. How are you feeling this morning?
I'm kind of conflicted. Disappointed, obviously. You know, I'm here to go ahead and eat all the crow I need to. Everybody listening that's listened to me in the past and supported me or whatever, like we failed. We failed
miserably.
Big time.
Miserably.
Big time.
Why did she lose so bad? I'll give you the third question. What went wrong for Kamala and the Democrats? Why the hell did she lose by so much?
Look, there's different. Look, there was many different reasons. There was not one particular reason. I think a lot of people were just disenfranchised with the inflation, and because they were in office, they attributed to their problems financially to one party. Regardless if we can look at all of the facts, we can look at the numbers, we can look at everything to say that we are the most, the highest achieving country of all of the first world nations in just about every metric. But when they go to the grocery store and their food costs more, they attribute that to one person.
So you pretty much are echoing the words of James Carville. It's the economy, stupid. That's what it boiled down to, in your opinion. It was the economy.
Well, no. Like I said, there's many different things. There was a disenfranchisement of the black men in these urban areas. They have been so disenfranchised for so long, and I hate to say it, and I hate to echo what Barack Obama said, was a lot of them. They feel emasculated to be voting for a black woman.
Wow.
I've heard them 1,000 times. They've said it out loud. Oh man, she ain't gonna be able to look. This has been the first time that the young black generation of men have been able to put their finger on the scales, and they feel empowered by it. Even if it goes against all of their best interests, they feel empowered to get to say, I showed you. Even if they got to take all of the stuff that's gonna come with trying to do immunity from police and getting rid of these programs and trying to scrap Obamacare, and it's going to affect their family, and they don't care right now. They feel empowered now because they got to win.
So you see it as an African American male, maybe even a Hispanic male, voting for Trump as voting against their own best interests?
Yes, just think about the Hispanic part, the part about Puerto Rico, the part that the only party that was even willing to consider making them an actual state instead of them being a territory was the Democrats. The Republicans fought tooth and nail. They treated it like garbage when that hurricane came through. They didn't give them the money they were supposed to. He went there and threw toilet paper at him, and then at the end of his campaign, he pretty much, they can say he was just a comedian, but that was part of his campaign. They called Puerto Rico a pile of trash.
Yeah, but people are going to say that was a comedian. It wasn't Trump.
Yeah, we know that. We know that. But the same way they can attach Megan Thee Stallion to Kamala Harris and say he had her up there shaking her tail. Why did she? The same way they can attach any famous person that went for Kamala, I'm going to attach somebody that was speaking at his.
That's a really good comeback. That is correct. When Lizzo and when Megan Thee Stallion and some of them got up there twerking, they did attach that to the Democratic Party. So you're right. The Democrats are saying, if that comedian doesn't represent the views of Trump, then this people twerking don't represent the views of the Democratic Party. That's a good comeback because they did do that.
Right, exactly. And I don't know. I can't say we all know, but most of us know that Trump, everything that he does has to be highly orchestrated because he's so stuck on optics. There's no way somebody in his campaign hired this guy, allowed him to get on stage and say what he said, and Trump didn't know. That's just not in his realm. He doesn't get down like that. He got to know because he wants everything to be, just like he always says, central casting. He wants everybody to look the part. He doesn't even care if you know what you're talking about. If you look good saying it, he's okay. So when he allowed that man to get up there on stage, and we also know that Trump is the first person to say, if you do something wrong, he will fire you. Who in his campaign got fired after that comic got hired?
No one, and you may hear from him again now that he's won. Shit, you may hear from him again. So I guess before I move on, I would ask you, do you think Trump's second term will be more or less divisive than the first, or maybe more of the same?
It's got to be. It's going to have to be more because he's promised so much more. People keep saying, "Well, we already had 4 years of him, and it wasn't that bad." It was pretty doggone bad. But now that he's promised all of this stuff about, look, I'm getting rid of taxes on tips. I'm getting rid of taxes on Social Security. I'm getting rid of. He even told people he's trying to get rid of the income tax.
But why would getting rid of taxes on tips cause division?
No, what I'm saying is these things are not so easily done. But those people who voted for him are banking that he's going to do it. Just the same way the people that's banking on this big deportation thing. He's got to make good on those things.
Also, you saying once he starts deporting people, that's going to cause a lot of division.
Yeah, that's one thing. I'm just saying he said he's going to end 2 wars and like on the first day. Like now he got to put up now. He done said all of this stuff.
I don't know.
Said he wasn't going to be able to do it.
I got to disagree with you for this point. You said now that he's made all these promises, he got to actually put up. He promised to drain the swamp. He promised to repeal and replace Obamacare and build a wall on the last go-round. He didn't deliver on any of that, and they still think he was the best president in U.S. history. So I don't think he has to deliver. I think MAGA's going to roll with Trump, whether his promises made in reality or him simply saying promises made, promises kept.
Okay, well then let's watch him. Let's watch, and we'll both sit back and reap the benefits if he actually goes in there and somehow he magically makes prices start going down for everybody. Because the thing is inflation. If he can't come in and immediately show people a difference, they're gonna become disenchanted. I'm just saying.
Well, I think particularly with MAGA, if the economy doesn't start improving in another year or so, they'll just simply say, Biden and the Democrats did something, and Trump is still working his ass off behind the scenes to fix it. It'll continue to be blamed on the Democrats. I don't think that's pretty hard to do.
Right, but the problem with that is the economy itself structurally is already doing well.
Yeah, you're talking to, but people don't know all. People they're gonna buy what he says. They're gonna buy what he says.
Well, then what can he do to make people feel like their life is like it's better? Because we're saying that, yes, interest rates are high, and then, because that's not his job, that's the Fed's job. And then, food prices are high. What happens in 6 months when I come back on this thing and I say, look, hey, I'm just saying.
You're asking what can Trump do to make people think that their lives is better. In my humble opinion, if you're MAGA, Trump can look you in the eye and say, your life is hereby better. And I'm saying, yeah, it is. So I don't think he has to do anything. I think just tell him right now, this is the best economy we've ever had, and that'll be enough.
And sadly, that is the truth.
So, all right then, Cal. It's a hell of a new day. At the end of the day, are you going to honor this man as your commander-in-chief?
Hey, it's going to be what it is. Look, I went out there, I did my civil duty, I did my part, I got my family out, I tried to rally my friends as best I could, I did the best thing. If he the president, he the president. But like I told you a long time ago, which you may not remember because I know you talk to so many people, but I'm going to be all right. I done already talked to my financial specialist, and we're going to do some modifications to my portfolio and try to protect me from different things in the market that's about to happen. But I'm going to be all right.
All right. And
catch my family, we going to be good.
Fair enough. And catch the bus, get out of car so that you don't get pulled over by cops. It's your boy, Tim. Thank you for coming through, Dink.
Look, I'm retired, so I ain't got to drive to work, man.
All right. Much love.
I'll be at the house.
All right.
At the house, man.
Stay safe out there. Appreciate it. All right. Moving on with the program. That's my boy, Denka. Will G, what would the United States gain if there is a peace treaty? Any treaties done by the United States never worked out well. If both sides honor the peace treaty, many would believe that when Iran made a peace treaty with the Obama administration about not getting a nuclear weapon, they were honoring it. Now, Trump came along and trashed that peace treaty with Iran and put nothing in its place other than, you're going to do what I say whether you want to or not. We're not going to give you shit to honor this deal. You just going to honor it because we told you to. That's kind of what Trump replaced the Obama deal with. Remember, Obama was releasing their funds. We had a whole lot of Iranian money that was held up in sanctions. And then all of a sudden Obama got in there and made a deal with Iran not to develop a nuclear weapon. What Iran received as a trade-off for that is, we'll release all of the money we've had frozen in different banks around the world. We'll give you back your money. Now, the critics of Obama were saying, well, he's sending Iranians piles of cash. No, he was sending them their own damn money back. But Trump came along and said, we're getting out of this deal. It's a bad deal, and we're not going to give you shit. You're just going to do what we ask, or we're going to blow you up. I mean, that's kind of the way he left it. So I don't know how we're going to continue from that, because that's what's coming up. Trump is not going to make any deals with Iran. In fact, I read an article this morning that stated, I don't know what the Iranian currency is called, but it just dropped substantially once the world found out that Trump is coming back, because everybody expects Trump is going to do whatever he can to make life in that country worse. I mean, Trump is no friend, Trump is no ally to Iran, and he's not really open to any type of deals with Iran. It's just, you do what America says, or that's your ass. So I'm pretty sure that what I read is probably true. The Iranian dollar has fell substantially. Putin will definitely be a friend of the United States now. I would not be surprised if we see Putin at Camp David, says Will G. I think there's 100%, I won't say 100%, but I think there's a high likelihood of that happening. Trump is very favorable to Vladimir Putin. I think he had Kim Jong-un in the White House. I believe he had invited Putin to come to the White House, and Putin rejected it. So yeah, that is there's a high probability of that. The issue is, while Trump is favorable to Putin, our allies are not. So I don't know how that's going to work if Trump starts promoting the lifting of sanctions with Putin, because Elon Musk is also friendly to Putin. Both of those men, because Trump is still a citizen of America, right? He's not he's a president-elect now, but as a citizen, both Trump and Elon Musk have been in contact with Russia, with Putin. They've been denying it. I don't totally buy it, but yeah, so I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know how our allies in the region, who are all frightened of Russia, will feel about Trump saying, no, let's be friends with the dude. Because many folks believe that Russia wants to reestablish the Soviet Union. My opinion, my analysis, why wouldn't they? Why would you not want to establish or reestablish the point when you were the most powerful in Russian history, when you had, control of most of Eastern Europe? My guess is a dictator like Putin probably does want to reestablish the Soviet Union. This is why I was continuing to suggest that there's no way Putin would have preferred Kamala Harris over Trump. Trump's going to get out of overseas conflicts. That gives Putin more room to do what he wants. But I had a hell of a lot of MAGA talking about, Putin wants Kamala Harris to win. He doesn't want Trump to win. That's crazy. Why would you not want a guy that's friends of yours to be the leader of America? Let me go back to the box. Trump won't let that happen. It would challenge American supremacy. Mountain Loving Mama says Trump would not let that stuff happen. It'll challenge American supremacy, which leads to the question I asked my other caller. Is he getting out of overseas conflicts, or is he remaining in them? You can't do both. He's talking about, I'm going to focus on America. Yes, I'm a nationalist. America first. We're going to stop getting involved in overseas conflicts. We're going to stop sending money overseas. But MAGA and Trump supporters keep saying he's going to have all of these controls about things that are going on. Either you're getting out of it or you're getting deeper into it. You can't do both. Something is not making sense there, because you just said he won't let it happen. It would challenge American supremacy. Then he has to be involved in it. He has to be policing people, making threats, controlling things behind the scenes. He is involved in it. And the only way to do all of that is either by threatening to kill mass amounts of people through war, or handing people piles of cash to shut them up. He's involved. Going to the box. Thank you folks that are tapping the screen. We should be about 50,000 by now. We can make that happen if you guys show the program some love. Tap the screen, get the likes on up. Continuing on, I want to go to another one of my subscribers there. whatever topics, that's a hell of a name. Good morning. I'm trying to get my day of reference correct. Whatever topics, and I make sure I want to answer a super chat there. The box is problematic there. We'll give it a chance to reset. Who I'm trying to bring up right now, the guy I'm trying to bring up apparently is not coming up. The box is playing games like that. It's amazing what President Trump went through, says Bobby Covina. He did go through a lot, but I know MAGA sees Trump as an innocent guy with a halo on and people were just bashing and attacking him. My analysis on it is Trump was involved in a fight. I mean, Trump takes on a lot. The whole Liz Cheney being a warmonger thing, for instance. She's on a campaign for Kamala Harris. She's saying negative things about Trump. Liz Cheney was a citizen at that point. He decided, well, I'm going to attack her back. I'm going to bring up that she was a warmonger. I mean, he just decided because she's saying things about me negative, I'm going to fight back and attack her. It is what it is. When you say he's went through a lot of it is because he likes to fight. If you like to get in fights, you might have cauliflower ear. You may have scratches and scars on you. He likes to fight. MAGA just doesn't like to see him get hit. He gets in a lot of fights that he don't need to get involved in. I will say that. The whole media trying to get to me, you'd have to shoot through the media, and I'm okay with that. You don't have to say that. He chose to say that. He chose to use that as comedy or whatever. I mean, there are media personnel that didn't like it. It comes with the territory. If you say stuff, people are going to go after you for it. Definitely not a halo, but one look at these bogus charges and you know there was lawfare. I can't call all the charges against Trump bogus because the cases never came to fruition. When Trump was charged and indicted, his supporters just said it's all bullshit. It's a witch hunt. Maybe you're correct, but my opinion on it is this. I need to hear what the prosecutor actually has to say before I say it's a witch hunt. I mean, it's not uncommon for anybody that gets charged of a crime to say, I'm not guilty, I'm innocent. Hell, O.J. Simpson, first thing he said is, I didn't do it. R. Kelly, I didn't do it. P. Diddy, Epstein, they all pled not guilty. I need to hear what they actually are accusing you of in court before I just jump on the bandwagon if you didn't do it. Trump supporters, he gets charged with something. I don't believe the people charging him, he didn't do it. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, but I need to hear what happens. Now, we know in Trump's case, Jack Smith is getting fired, Merrick Garland is getting fired, and the folks who replaced him will likely announce that we've decided to drop all charges. I don't know what they were ever accusing him of. So I can't say he's innocent. I don't know what the case was. Going back to the box, I voted for Trump and I do not live paycheck to paycheck. That is a very rude thing to say. You're talking to someone else because I certainly did not. There's a lot of reasons to vote for Trump that have nothing to do with the economy. And there were a lot of reasons to vote for Kamala Harris as well. I'd have to hear your politics. Stick Derula, one of my subscribers as well. Good afternoon. I'm going to get this wrong all damn day. Good morning, Stick.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Tim?
I'm in the trenches, man. How you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling awakened. Now I'm woke.
That don't say shit. That don't say shit. What does that mean?
I finally see what this country is. I finally found out what this country is really about.
So like
she didn't lose because of her policies. She didn't lose because of her laugh. Hell, Tim, she didn't even lose because of her skin.
Why did she lose?
Lost because she was a woman. Because she was a woman.
You think that's the only reason?
Period.
Okay, people
all across the board, it's the men. All across the board, it's the men.
So a big dose of misogyny.
So that lets you know. Oh yeah, especially with the black men. The black men, for those, they got the alpha beta male right now. So for all those betas who's tired of losing, this their way to get their little get back to their girlfriend that dumped them, and he ain't had no place to stay.
Oh my God! So let me play devil's advocate. Let me put on the MAGA hat and play devil's advocate. How do you respond to somebody who might say, under Trump, I actually could see numbers in my bank account. I could afford the groceries. I could actually afford to buy some shit. And under her and Biden, I could not. Therefore, I'm not voting for her. I'm going to vote for the guy who allowed me to feed my family. How do you respond to that?
What I would respond to that to say is, even if Hillary would have won, you would have been saying the same thing about Hillary.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Second question.
They both would have inherited a Barack economy. So yeah, it looked real good. You're right.
Next question. Under Trump, I was able to go about my daily business. I didn't see all these immigrants laying all around the place, getting free shit that I would never get, and hearing that there were even more constantly being let in the border. I believe the border should be secure. We shouldn't just let any unknown person come in the country. Some of them have killed people, and it wasn't happening under Trump. So therefore, I'm getting rid of Kamala Harris and Biden and putting Trump back in. How would you respond to that?
What I would say is, to everybody that feels like the border was a problem and you're on the MAGA side, y'all should have just had him to say, hey, yeah, I think that's a good idea, sign this bill in. And then he could have took the credit for telling y'all to sign the bill in. But y'all didn't do that. What you did was gave him a platform to run on, which was the border was bad. All the Republicans that swore to the United States that they would do their duty didn't do it, didn't protect us. So the border bill didn't pass through. That's my comeback.
All right.
And
go ahead. No, I was going to say also, how do you respond to somebody that might suggest, when I send my child to school, when I send my daughter to school, the thought of her ever having to play sports against a biological male, putting her safety in danger, is unacceptable to me. Therefore, I'm going to vote for a presidential candidate that would never put my daughter in harm's way like that. How do you respond to that?
Well, I would first say, show me where that's happening. I know for a fact that there's probably been like female kickers in football, but normally it's the female going to the male sport. It's never the reverse. Normally it's the female going to the male sport, because before there was a guy playing any type of female sport, there was always that one girl that ended up playing in this certain town that didn't care that she was a girl and let her play with the boys.
I would just follow up.
I've been crossing over for a minute.
Been crossing over for. I'm not arguing with that, but then I will respond by simply saying this: perhaps there are some folks, black, white, Hispanic, liberals, independents, folks of all walks of life, who might simply say, I voted for Trump because I want to get back to a point in this country where I know what the hell a girl is and what the hell a man is. And under the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden team, the lines are getting so blurred that I don't want to investigate any more of that. How would you respond to that?
What I would say is, be a better parent. Just be a better parent.
How does that work?
Teach them what you want them. Teach them what you want them to know. If you want them to know what a boy is in your eyes, if you want them to know what a girl is in your eyes, you sit down and you teach them. Don't shy away from it. Don't be scared of being a parent. This is the things that we have to do. Because back in my day, you know, when you get about 14, 15, you have to talk. Whether you a girl or a boy. Look, you're going to feel like this. You want to do this. You had the talk. Maybe it's just this generation now, and or I would say this generation, my generation, the ones that are in charge, they don't want to do what the old did.
Hold on, wait, stick. Hold on. I'm going to interrupt you. I'll let you continue. But in the comments, I do want to respond to LNB91. States, I get that you want to let people speak, but every single live, it's one, maybe two MAGA and 15 lefties. You are correct, but that is because I take callers from TikTok, and MAGA don't like TikTok. I'm looking forward to speaking to many MAGA as possible. I can't make folks disagree with getting on the Chinese app. Most of my MAGA viewers are on YouTube, and I can't take callers on YouTube. It's not set up that way. I don't know how to do it on YouTube. I would invite all MAGA to come to TikTok, and I'd take the calls regularly. But I can't make them do that. I regularly bring up MAGA in the box and talk to them, but the reason it's so lopsided, they don't come on the program. They stay on YouTube. Thank you for your comments. Dick, continue.
And yeah, then not only that, y'all conservatives, y'all still stuck on YouTube. That's like World Star or something. Like, I mean, that's not where it's at right now. Where it's at is TikTok. So if you want to be heard, get on TikTok, register, get your followers, how many of that you need, and then just join the live, and then you can be heard. Because YouTube right now is not the streaming app, other than if you just want to talk.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to what I was saying, Tim. So yeah, I woke up disappointed in the men of today. The same men that complained about people coming across the border when they're 20 steps ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
Those same men. And then again, the black men that want to take it out on their baby moms or they girlfriend that dumped them and didn't want to let Kamala get in, and then they're right in the girls' DMs. Gotcha, bitch. That's what we dealing with right now. That's all it is.
Misogynistic men.
The whole thing, from the Latino men to the black men to the white men, of course, supposed to be more white folks, period, in America than anything. So yeah, a lot of them jumped on hey, we're going to show these women we're still in charge. And I feel like right now, not maybe my vote, but a lot of votes when Hillary ran was the same thing. Oh, you tried my boy Bill.
Then how do you explain all of the women? I say Trump probably got at least damn near half of the women's vote too. How do you explain that? That ain't misogyny.
Well, my thing is this. If you happy, in whatever relationship that you may have, whether it be Republican, MAGA, conservative, Democrat, whatever, 9 times out of 10, if it ain't broke to you, you ain't gonna fix it. But what we seen was millions of people told you something was broke in this country, even though you guys were saying it as well. But for some reason, y'all picked the broke candidate to fix something that's broke.
That was his, but see, that's literally his motto was, I'll fix it. They don't believe he's the broke candidate. They actually believe that Kamala Harris and Biden broke America. And that was literally what Kamala's moniker was, when we fight, we win, and we're not going back. Trump's was, I'll fix it. That literally is what he ran on, is he was going to fix it.
I'm going to say it like this, Tim. If you're sick, are you sick just because you're sick? Are you sick because something either has affected your body or got into your system? Is that the reason?
It depends on it depends on what Dr. Trump diagnoses me with. I gotta move it on, but I think.
That's probably what MAGA would say. But what I would say is, the symptoms is we had already had him in office, and that was the symptom. He did, when we actually did have a pandemic, he was trash. And like he say, he's garbage. He got rid of a plan. That's on him. So we've seen his leadership. We know who he is. But again, the only reason and I'm not even gonna say racism right now. The men fucked it up for America. Y'all have a good day. Enjoy this bullshit we got coming.
All right, Stick. Appreciate you coming in. By the way, in the comments, I see CMB Corrado says, please 100% send gift to help everyone. God bless. Hey, support the program. I do appreciate those who do occasionally send me something. It helps out the program. I do have 3 different devices making this shit possible. So I'll happily take any donation at this point. Looking in the comments, no men actually grew up and spoke some. Let me go back to the box. Continuing on. Harry Sisson, I think it was. You certainly have been on hold there. I'll bring you up. Send Jesus at this point. Some say that Jesus is the one that got rid of Biden and put Trump in there. Harry, good afternoon.
What's going on?
Hey, how you feeling this morning? I know you got the candidate of choice in there.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at all the most awful people, they're so angry. I mean, look at the people. You had 2 of them come on your program back to back. The one guy who wanted to
burn America, burn Hollywood, burn.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. Is that like stealing Gucci belts again? Or
oh my God! How do you feel about now? Trump referenced some of those mob robberies, like stealing Gucci belts and stealing Coach purses, where they go in the store and they rob the whole store blind, a whole bunch of people. Trump stated that you could end that type of stuff by giving the police the ability to have a violent hour. And he used the term, I mean really violent. Let the police be really violent to those folks for a solid hour, and you could end that. Would you support something like that?
Bro, if you have to like take back a city from like a violent mob, like it's never gonna look good. I mean, even Hurricane Katrina.
That ain't what we're talking about. We're talking about everybody going into a CVS and stealing stuff off the shelves or something like that. Do you believe the police should be allowed to be really violent to them?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a violent act. Like, yeah, you like match the violence. So if you're doing like smash and grabs and stuff like that, yeah, like that's like no good.
All right, fair enough.
You gotta finish that no matter what. That's not allowed in our country. Sorry.
Finish that. What is this, Mortal Kombat? Finish him?
Yeah. If you let that stuff, like, if you're like soft on that and you start blaming, it's like, oh, it's like the young teens and they don't have like swimming pools or whatever, like whatever the Chicago mayor said. Yeah, it's just not going to cut it. You know, in like a moral society, those people get either thrown in prison or dealt with.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you the third question. What went wrong with Kamala Harris's campaign and with the Democrats? What was it? Why do you think the Democrats lost by so much? They got beat badly. Why do you think they lost by so much?
The campaign was mostly just like bitching and whining about Trump, and then they were bragging about the economy, which, I mean, I don't think that played well for them. The housing prices just keep going up. The food prices are terrible. And when you shove like a bunch of like experts data in your face, like Harry Sisson would love to just say like, no, the economy's great, crime is down, Kamala Harris is, responsible for all of it. I think a lot of that shoots yourself in the foot because people, like real Americans that are looking at real everyday stuff, they just see the opposite and they're going to vote that way.
So are you really blaming the Vice President Kamala Harris for the policies of the Biden administration? I mean, is the Vice President really?
Well, everyone knows that she was just going to be 4 more years of the same. Like, she's the same regime that, like, either the Biden, like, she's not going to be like a massive player that's going to go in there and make big change, right?
I want to disagree with you on the notion that she was just going to be 4 more years of Biden, but unfortunately I can't, because she went on The View and they asked her, what would you do different from Biden? And she was like, I can't even think. That was, to me, by far the worst answer I've ever seen to a question, where you can't even say you would do anything different than Biden at a time when Biden is incredibly unpopular. So I want to disagree with you, and I would certainly do it if I could, but I really can't, because she answered that question so damn bad.
Yeah, there wasn't really any good policy explanations, or running on emotion, running on women, the whole coconut tree thing. There was excitement for a little bit when they switched Biden out, but fizzled out pretty quick.
Yeah, I got a ton of...
It was just destined. I mean, it just seemed like it was perfect karma. The system went after him. So it's a good end to his story, I feel like,
Do you think he should do some of the stuff he's promising, like go after Comey and Mueller and all of the folks he's promising to go? Do you think he should actually follow up on that?
I want him to be as bad as they say and worse. Total retribution.
So
dismantle the entire
I'm trying to come
unelected bureaucrat regime that's over there in Washington.
So you say you want him to be a president of retribution. So my second question I've been asking folks is, do you think Trump's term will be less divisive or more? Sound like you want it to be divisive.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried about I'm not running on unity, right? Like we want to run on America first.
Why do you want division?
Well, it's just a byproduct of change, right? Like all the institutions are captured by bad actors and some of the most evil people in the world, but they're infiltrated through Hollywood, banking, the media, and government. They're all playing on the same team. And for these people to be ripped from their seats of power, they're not going to go quietly. They're going to use all the tools they have, and they're going to call it hateful. They're going to call it, a lot of people are going to fall for the lies that they tell, and they're going to say it's division. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. There's going to be so many useful idiots that are going to be fighting for these people to their last breath, pretty much, for lack of better terms. And yeah, it's going to be divisive.
Do you believe he can do all of this in a mere 4 years, or do you think
No. Trump's more of like an avatar. Like, he's kind of like, we need to see how we're going to game plan this and move the MAGA movement like forward after this next 4 years. We're going to have to, closely monitor what he does here.
Do you, based on what you're saying, is there any validity in your opinion to the notion that not only does he want to be a divisive president, but some folks are claiming that he may try to stay in office longer than 4 years? Do you believe there's any validity to that?
I don't see that. I mean, he just doesn't seem. I mean, it'd be cool. That'd be pretty funny if he just
funny.
If he somehow just was able to capture the power like that. I think that would just be hilarious, honestly.
So if he was to subvert the republic in democracy, you would find that to be humorous?
Yeah. If he went in there and was like, all right, we're going to suspend the legislator, and he took total control of like the military, and he was running on like total executive action, like through like some sort of martial law or something, and just completely suspended the legislator, sent home all the bureaucrats, and was like managing as just like him and like a team of loyalists, like that would be fucking awesome.
So you want Trump to be, I would say one, but you would prefer him more in a dictator setting. You sound like you're favorable to it.
Yes.
Why? One man.
It's just more effective, right? Like that's if you want to make change, like if you want real change and you want effective leadership, there's no arguing that that's the most effective if the good people are in charge. Sure, if you have an evil person in charge, I want like if it was like Kamala Harris, give me 3 branches of government, checks and balances, all that stuff. But when it comes to a real patriot and a real winner wants real change, you gotta give this guy a little extra leash to do what he has to do.
So I see in the comments, Boss Move says it would be what America deserves to get Trump as a dictator. So in other words, you guys have been saying that the liberals are fear-mongering about this whole dictatorship, but in reality, some folks like yourself actually would like for that to happen.
Well, I've been saying that. It's not the first time I've told you that I'm not like, loyal to like the whole everyone gets a vote. Look at all these people that come up here. Does that Quincy guy and that teacher guy really deserve to say what happens to our government, the guy who wants to destroy it? In a moral society, does it necessarily have to happen? I'd say no.
So how do you dictate whose vote matters as opposed to yours? Why you believe obviously your vote or your say-so is more valuable, more pertinent than his? How do you make that? How do you come to that conclusion?
There's a bunch of systems that would be better. I don't know, heads of households, heads of state, or heads of if you own land, stuff like that. Important people should be making decisions, not these. Some third world. Everyone's an American now. You're a third worlder. You come here. You have a bunch of kids now. These kids are all voting. They all hate America.
What is your justification to suggest somebody hates America? What give me your description or your definition of somebody who hates America. What do they have to do to make you come to that conclusion?
Well, if you have like a more allegiance to another nation than the United States, that's a good start. Like a lot of these people, if you ask them, a lot of these foreigners, it's like, well, when I asked another creator on here, I was like, well, America, if you ask a lot of Mexicans in America, it's like if America passed a policy that would have great benefit for America, but would have a great detriment to the country of Mexico, would the Mexican Americans support that? I don't know. I, as a real American patriot, would obviously support the betterment of my nation, my empire, but all these foreign actors come in here with allegiances to other nations and all these other side deals going on, that's not the best for our country. So
you buy into Trump's statement that many of these folks that are coming to America mean America harm, whether you're talking about allegiance to other nations or being rapists and murderers or eating pets. Do you actually believe that most of that's valid?
Oh yeah, they're not sending their best either. Like, sure, we can have some immigration if we take some people of value, like people like Elon Musk, like that guy's a rocket scientist who can send things to the moon, colonize Mars, flip these rockets around. He's not born in America, but that's an immigrant I want on my team, right? right? Because this guy is valuable. He can create electronic cars, dig tunnels under the city. I don't want people from Haiti who are going to fucking steal my cat and drink its blood and do a voodoo ritual in my backyard, right? It's a completely different type of immigration. And Harry Sisson and all these liberals and Democrats be like, well, they look at it as it's a one-to-one comparison. An Elon Musk immigrant is the same as some guy from a tribe in Africa, and it's absolutely insane.
Well, then I have to ask you what might be considered a controversial question. In the comments, Stop Playing With Me, that's a hell of a name. Stop Playing With Me says to ask you if you think black people are part of America. Appreciate that, Mr. Mobetta.
Yeah. They call them FBAs, Foundational Black Americans. You hear a lot of that. Like, I totally believe black people, they've been here for generations. And I think, doesn't mean that you have to be a white person to be American, but I do think it takes multiple generations. This doesn't happen overnight. It's not just where you're born. But yeah, black people, some of them are Americans, not the ones that just moved here, but people.
Okay, hang on.
You're an American. Yeah, like people like Kanye West. He's an American, 100%.
Well, what's so special about Kanye West?
Well, he's just an example of like a foundational black. Like these people have been here for generations. Like if you move someone from a tribe in Africa or like all these Nicaraguan Nigerian immigrants, like no, these people are not American.
How do you respond to the notion that folks are suggesting that Trump said we need to have people come here from first world nations and not shithole countries and things like that?
True. Yeah, totally true.
So you are one of
you are what your population is. So if we bring in, give me any reason to believe that your country wouldn't, like, if we replaced 50% of our population with third worlders, do you think our country would turn into a third world country? Like even if you just gave them, like, you are what you import. These people aren't going to change their way of life, their habits. These people, it's just not going to happen.
So then, based on your statement, you should probably not bring people in from third world countries. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think a single Haitian should be living in America. If you think you should be drinking cats' blood, doing rituals with white people's blood. Nah.
Where's the evidence of that actually ever happening, though?
Oh yeah, you should look into the Haitian Revolution in 1809. Do you know the history of Haiti?
We're talking about now. Wait a minute. You want to look at what America was doing in 1809? It was probably drinking black folks' blood. We're talking about now.
Who? Christians were drinking black. We were a Christian nation. Christians were doing that? Really? At the pencil factory, maybe with what's his name? The ADL guy.
No, here's the point I'm making. I see your comment, Buckeye.
Christians were doing that.
And I see your comment, Buckeye's a victor. I actually bet Buckeye some money that Trump would lose, and he won. So I owe you some money there. We'll talk about that. But
I bet $1,200 on Trump. That was free money.
You bet $1,200 on Trump.
Yeah, that was free.
What did it pay? Well, you bet with another citizen or through some gambling agency?
No, I did a little bit on Kalshi, Poly Market. So I didn't get great odds. I got
that's what I was going to say. You didn't get
some vig. So it was like $1,200 to win $1,100. So it's pretty good.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, you want a divisive America. You want him to go after people.
I just want to go after people. I mean, we just have to make our country great. And if that means deporting people that hate this country, yeah, totally, I'm for that.
I'm afraid to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you anyway, because I often bring this up as one of my criticisms of Trump. He's promising to give police immunity from prosecution in liberal cities and bring back stop and frisk. What's your opinion on that?
Yes, totally for it. I mean, I'm scared to go to these cities, and I'm like, in shape and could, handle myself. But these people, like a lot of these women walking around, they're getting the shit kicked out of them, robbed by 11-year-olds with guns. It is lawlessness, and we have to get it under control. And these people that you import, these third world people, you cannot play nice with these people. That's another thing. You think you can import these third world people and send peace officers and emotional support people to deal with people from Venezuela and Haiti who are, some of the most savage individuals on this planet. you know, and you're going to send some 5'2" woman peace officer who has a liberal arts degree to go handle some Venezuelan gang. And it's like, all right, let's see how this works out for you. Give me the strong masculine man to go, you know, diffuse that situation every time. And you're going to have to let him do his job. Don't fucking throw him in jail if, you know, he fucking touches the guy the wrong way or something.
All right. Last but not least, now Trump's been denying this the whole time, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I think you and I talked about this. I want to get your opinion on this. How do you feel about some of the tenets of Project 2025? Do you think that's something that would be favorable? Because it's a far-right America, what he's talking about. You know,
it's unfortunate that he's denounced it so many times. Those are the Trump loyalists. I want the administration to be staffed with those people. People like, you know, Lindowski was a decent ad. I want McEntee back. I think it's sad that he kicked Laura Loomer out, but he's keeping La Savita in. I think it's going to be, I don't want Mike Pompeo. I don't want Jared Kushner running the staffing. I don't want La Savita in there.
So you prefer a Project 2025?
Give me the Project 2025 guys every single time. That's what we wanted. If he was running on that, I would have been knocking doors for Trump. But recently we've been kind of not gung ho on that because
what are some of your? If I ask you for the greatest hits, give me some portions of Project 2025 that you really believe America needs to be implemented. What's in Project?
The mass deportation is number one. The immigration stuff is first and foremost the most important issue.
Okay. Give me another.
I mean, that's all I really care about is immigration and national sovereignty. I don't what else is even on there. I'm not too sure. But
women having their
small things. I can name a few small things.
Yeah, women having their place, not necessarily being at the same level of men. We're talking about. Do you believe in replacement theory? You believe that's legit?
Oh, yeah, totally. That's 100% legit. Look in the Hart-Celler in 1965, the Hart-Celler Act.
How do you think, what's the best solution for replacement theory? How would you stop that from happening?
Well, you just have to take into account. You say, listen, we have enough immigrants. We're going to work with what we have. The illegal ones have to go. Their children have to go. You know, we have to work on the ones here, probably start limiting that as well. And just start, you know, paying attention to this stuff and
all right, Harry,
acknowledge that it's happening, right? And not saying that it's hateful or celebrate it, you know, at least, you know, we need to acknowledge it.
Fair enough. You never disappoint, Harry. I got to move it on. Obviously, you and I probably don't agree on any of this, but you never disappoint. Appreciate you holding on.
I forgot the whole going after the bureaucracies, ending the FBI, ending the Department of Education. All that stuff.
How do you have an effective country with no FBI? If I commit a crime in Chicago and I flee the law and run to another state, the FBI is one of the main organizations that would go after me. How do you have a effective criminal justice system with no FBI?
Oh yeah, totally. So on the elementary level, like we want to have strong federal agents that could go after people and prosecute them that are stronger than the police. But the system we have now, the FBI, it's just these people are not looking to protect Americans. They're looking to indict the patriots and go after the people that are trying to help this country more than anything. And FBI is more allegiant to foreign nations than America, that being Israel. I mean, they're obviously infiltrated top to down by Israel. All the Israeli agents get turned a blind eye.
You know Trump is going to favor Benjamin Netanyahu, though. He's not. You're not as strong on it.
Of that.
Huh?
We know that. That's why I didn't endorse him.
So you didn't vote for Trump?
I voted for him, but it was kind of just the lesser of two evils idea. It's not I don't think he's the best candidate.
It sounds to me like you want a president.
Well, here's the thing. It's a day for celebration. He won yesterday. I'm not here to soil. I like Trump in 2016. I love the guy. I like Trump as a man, but I just believe that,
based on what I'm hearing from you,
he took a lot of money from these people.
Yeah, based on what I'm hearing from you, I think you want I think you want a Trump that's further to the right. I think that Trump is not far enough to the right to satisfy you. That's what it sounds like.
Oh, yeah. Do I think this is the Trump I'm going to get? No. This is, but, I mean, it is what it is.
All right, Harry. What about JD Vance?
I want the Trump that these BLM freaks that are crying, that are like, I want that guy to come in office, and it's not going to happen. We're going to get the guy that we've seen for the last 8 years. He's losing it a little bit. He's not as.
Wait. What do you said? I want the Trump that BLM freaks are crying about. What?
Yeah.
Describe that Trump. Describe to me the Trump you want. What is he doing? What do you want him to do that he's not doing?
Yeah. That authoritarian nationalist. Like, remember when it was like, in 2016, you used to wear that MAGA hat and people would like beat the shit out of you because people knew like that guy's fucking hardcore. He wants real change. They call him a racist. Now you got all these, it's the most watered down movement that it's just, what is it? Populist, lower taxes type thing. I mean, we want a nationalist, almost like an authoritarian, tough on crime.
You want a dictator. You want a dictator.
We believe we have a great infiltration issue within our government, and it needs to be rooted out by.
You want a dictator. Am I correct?
We already have a dictator. I mean, I don't think we have American sovereignty. That's the thing. I don't think the president's even acting on his own volition. These people are beholden to foreign actors, foreign money, foreign blackmail. This stuff is it's so bad. Look at the top donors on both sides. These people aren't even like American.
All right, Harry, you drive a hard bargain. I got to move it on. You certainly don't disappoint my crowd. It's like, who the hell is this?
It's a tough situation, but it's my 1/300 millionth power to vote. I'm not going to throw away my vote. I'm not going to troll with it. I do think Trump is better. He's going to have a little bit more free speech. The immigration is going to get better. I think his judges' picks are good. And the whole Bobby Kennedy food thing, hopefully that guy can take all the poison and food out of the water. That guy is a crusher on that. I think he's totally on the ball with that.
I'll leave it there. Gotta go. Thanks, Harry.
Peace.
All right, moving on to the program. Free speech while silencing dissidents. Yeah, silencing dissent. Double luck. I got it. Yeah, there may be some of that. He would definitely be in my sights. Black power. Harry voted for President Trump. Yeah, he admitted he voted for him. He just see Trump as not being, maybe I asked him about JD Vance, but he was orating at different points, so he didn't hear me, but it sounds like he might be more favorable to Vance. I mean, because I think Vance is to the right of Trump. I do believe JD Vance is to the right of Trump, and it sounds like he favors that more. Harry was the only one discussing silence and free speech. By the way, tap the screen. Thank you, Buckeye, for that TikTok cap. Appreciate your support of the program, Buckeye404. By the way, folks, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 60,000. Nope, Vance only appears to be a nationalist. Well, that's somewhat far right there. That's somewhat, thank you, Buckeye, giving me my own shit back. Buckeye, good job. Congratulations. Let me go to the bots. We'll keep it moving. Timoteo, good afternoon. Somewhat, depends on what part of the country you're in. Timoteo.
Ding dong, the witch is dead, the wicked witch is dead. Hey,
congratulations. Congratulations.
It's crazy, man.
You didn't have to call her a witch, though, but congratulations. Go ahead. It's crazy, but what?
I would have thought that when you sweep the floor with somebody as bad as they did with her, that, all the trash, the roaches and the rats and all that would stop complaining, because they would see that, the rest of the world, the rest of the country, everyone else around you sees something different than you do. Maybe it's time to turn off MSNBC and start watching some Newsmax or something. I don't know. The
trash, the roaches. Who's represented by the roaches and trash? You're using some hard terms there.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But to me, it's like, come on, people. Come on. What are we talking about here? You have a constitution, first and foremost. That's the supreme law of the land. That is what controls everything. Why are people so freaking worried and sitting here with all these superstitions and hypotheticals and blah, blah, blah? What? I mean, how the whole freaking map was red, people. Somebody sees something that you don't, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to see. I mean, you guys got to understand what you are being fed every day, whether it's through the algorithm or through the media, is all based on what you're liking and what you want to hear. You're not hearing the two sides of things. You have to understand your enemy to be able to go to war.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
There's a lot that's said in the liberal media. I can't even watch CBS anymore, man. It's ridiculous. That one lady, man, she looks like a fake black lady, but I forget what her name is. But man, she was like literally saying last night, like, oh, it's like the world's gonna end. Like, oh, we're gonna have to deal with this and that and this and that. They're hyping up all of this hype. You have a constitution.
Well,
you do
realize even with the Constitution, Buckeye with the money gun. Thank you, Buckeye. Thank you. Show your boy some love. Appreciate that. You do realize Trump is saying things that are scaring people. Whether he's going to actually do them or not, he is saying things that's scaring the shit out of people.
It's scaring people who don't understand the Constitution.
That's most of America. People don't. You're saying things that require somebody to read a whole document.
America is the Constitution, Tim. That's what we are entirely based on. That's what gives us our freedom.
What? So when I keep bringing up him promising to give police immunity, you're saying they shouldn't be scared of that because of what?
Tim. As long as a policeman does not act out of the color of law, which is against your rights in the Constitution, as long as he performs within the law, he has immunity already. What don't you get? If he violates your rights in any way, there's immunity. And you can go after him. You don't even have to sue him.
So then I'm going to ask you. Hold on. I'm going to ask you if he has immunity already. Then what is Trump promising? Why is he saying that?
I told you yesterday. He's trying to appeal to a huge group of people called police officers to secure their vote.
But you said
he's not caring that it's going to make the people who don't know their rights worry.
So what he is saying is, what you're saying is he's trying to appeal to police by promising to give them something they already have.
Exactly. And he's doing that because it appeals to their grouping. He got him the votes.
You're describing him as you literally are describing him as a con man. I'm promising to give you something when I'm really giving you nothing at all.
Which one's, is it the same as a liar? Because
everything
that they've been
it is
on your side has been lies. So you've been either lied to or conned by. So which one's worse?
So
that's what I've been trying to tell you this whole time.
So in other words, he's lying or he's been a con, but he's quote unquote not as bad as the Democrats. No. That's what you just said.
The bullshit that you're all worried about has never happened. It's never been what has happened. Okay? But you're worried about it. Why? Because you're being over and over and over again through the media you're watching, you're being told that it's going to happen.
According to what you just stated,
have a Constitution in place that protects you at all costs. If you know the Constitution, then you know you're a writ of curori away from bringing up any problem you have with the government.
I'm going back to what you just said. You just clearly said to appeal to police. He is promising to give them something they already had. I mean, if that is not a shell game or a switcheroo or a con, I don't know what is. You basically are saying he's promising to give them nothing, but they're too stupid to realize it.
Jim, as long as a cop does not act outside of his bounds.
Go back to what I said. But am I correct? Am I correct that based on what you're saying is that he is telling the cops, I'm going to give you something to appeal to them that they already have because, like you said, they don't know the Constitution and they're too stupid to realize that he's actually promising them nothing. Am I interpreting you right?
He was generating votes, yes.
So I'm interpreting you right. So that's a con.
Well, hey, on the other side, you got people lying left and right. It's all two wings of the same eagle, bro. And I've been telling you that for the longest time. And I wish, for once, people would take a step back and actually look at both sides and actually go to the Constitution. Read the freaking Constitution, people. I hear people talking about nationalists or far right or far left. I wish everybody would just be a constitutionalist.
Here's what I don't like. Here's what I don't like about what you're saying, Timoteo. you're basically saying that because Trump knows that a lot of Americans have not read the Constitution, as opposed to teaching it and working with us, he's using our ignorance to exploit us by promising to give us stuff that we don't know we may already have, simply on the guise that you're too dumb and you don't know the Constitution. You're making it sound like he's actually taking advantage of people.
Tim, I got news for you. The government exploits your ignorance daily.
And he's one of them.
On every hour of the day, at this very minute, your ignorance is being exploited. You don't know your rights.
So
you don't know the Constitution.
So
you're walking blindly with a book in your hand that tells you how to walk, and you don't even read it.
So what you're saying is that we, us citizens, are ignorant to the Constitution, and he is only going to exploit it just like every other government official. He's not bettering the government. He's going to follow in their tracks and continue exploiting us as well.
I didn't say any of that. You just said that.
That is what you said. That's exactly what you just said.
Constitution, so nobody can exploit you if you know how to use the Constitution. If you know what the Constitution says, you don't be exploited either, because you know what it says, and you know that they can't cross that line without going through the proper lines of legislation. Laws are not written by presidents, okay? Laws are legislative. It goes to the legislative branch. It's a fact, okay? I'm not preaching bullshit. I'm not up here lying. I'm not being a wild. Okay?
You're breaking up.
Follow the Constitution. You know the Constitution. You got nothing to worry about. If you follow the Constitution, you know the Constitution. You got nothing to worry about. That's what I'm saying.
All right, Timoteo. Appreciate you coming on. Thanks, man. You're breaking up, by the way, too. All right, moving on with the program. And I spared you, Timoteo. I didn't give you your disclaimer about some things. But anyway, we'll move it on. Read the Constitution that is in front of your face, because you know the law so well. Yeah, here's what I don't like. If he, according to my last guest, President Trump is promising to do things that you need to read the Constitution to realize he cannot do them. That to me, that doesn't put Trump in a good light. That you need to read the Constitution to realize a lot of the things he's promising he can't do, which essentially means he's lying. He's lying about stuff. That means that Trump is lying to you, pulling the wool over your eyes, and as my last caller said, expecting you to be too dumb to realize it. I thought he was not a typical politician that was going to make America better, when my last caller said he really ain't nothing but more of the same. Maybe he's just slightly better than the one we getting rid of. He don't paint Trump in a good light. I'm just going to say that. You just messed up your lighting by touching the phone. I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting in a bad spot. I can't help the rotation of the damn planet, so the lighting has a lot to do with the fact that the sun is moving, and I'm trying to keep it out of the vehicle. I started to do it at home in the home studio, but I'm going to talk to these fuckers live in the car. That's always the excuse. Says, I can barely even read YouTube because it is so blinding in here right now with the sun coming over my left shoulder. I'll continue on with the program, see if I can take a caller and create something to clear the window. Miss Mo Betta, one of my subscribers. Good afternoon, Miss Mo Betta. How you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling okay. I'm okay. I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed because we didn't show up like we should have for
Wow.
Buffalo.
Did you not? I mean, wow. I mean, he won by a lot.
Yeah. We didn't show up like we were supposed to. And a lot of that, I blame a lot of that on our people. On our people.
You mean people of color?
Yes, absolutely. They were so fixed on her gender, number one, her color, number two.
Whoa.
And
wait. You're saying black people were fixated on her color?
Absolutely, Tim. They were saying, "Oh, well, she ain't black.
Yeah.
She's not black. She's not black." I said, well, "You know what kind of black they were looking for from her was for her to be up there acting like some type of hood booger. That's not who she is. That's not who she is." Yeah, I said it out loud.
Let me ask you this: do you think
that one?
Let me ask you this: do you think Michelle Obama could have beat Trump?
Hands down. Hands down. They were threatened. They were threatened by Kamala also. It's just the fact that Trump has them so deluded. till, you know, they just believe everything that comes out of his mouth for whatever reason. You know, he's, you know, they're talking about the economy. Let's go back to the economy. If that's what your plight is. Oh,
right.
Well, we were doing better under Trump. Yeah, the first 2 years he got into office, yes, he didn't have much to do. Obama left him in a good place to where he didn't have to go and fix taxes. He didn't have to go fix anything. And then once the C-19 hit and it was time for him to president, he dropped the ball. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do. So then when the OPEC deal was going down and you went to these people saying, oh, well, reduce production and stuff. Now they got to charge people more for gas and do all kinds of things now for gas.
Okay.
And not to mention, the outside was closed. That people weren't going to restaurants. People weren't going to the grocery store. Was probably the only store that was really open. People weren't shopping in the malls and different things like that. Wasn't buying nothing. Wasn't buying no homes and stuff. And that's where the economy started to fail.
Yeah, but they don't. I think the issue is most Americans don't see it that way. Most Americans, they think
I get it.
Huh?
That's the truth. No, that's true. They don't see it that way. Then they got that little, that's why I call them stimulus check ass babies. They got that one little stimulus check. It probably lasted them 3 days. It might have lasted them 3 or 4 days. And then it's back to square one. Now I'm going to look to somebody else to blame for me not getting another stimulus check.
Let me ask it to you this way. At the end of the day, do you think Kamala Harris was a decent candidate? Do you think she may, or should the liberals have actually voted in somebody that more people wanted? Was she maybe just a bad candidate?
She was not a bad candidate. They were really threatened by everything that they were saying that she wasn't, which was an educated black woman that stood her ground. She stood her ground. She did well for her only to have 3 months to come in and campaign. People were not listening to her to understand. They were just listening to respond. They were listening just to shoot at her, to discredit anything that she had going on. Now, when you speak of Trump and all the things he did when it came to Stormy Daniels and all of that stuff, they talk about, oh, why are you bringing up old stuff? But when Kamala when she was a prosecutor, so why are you bringing up that old shit? It's again the flip-flopping hypocrisy.
So at the end of the day, you believe that the Democrats, out of everybody they could have chose, you think they did what they should have did with Kamala?
Yeah. I think they absolutely did. They had a good chance.
Wow.
And they did have a good chance. Again, for whatever reason, they didn't show up. I know because they were getting brainwashed. And like I said, a lot of the black men don't like her because she didn't choose them, and a lot of black women didn't like her because they suck dick for less. They were sucking dick for, oh, what you doing, beautiful Tex? Wow. Knock it off. She was very much qualified. She was a lot more qualified, 2 to 3 times more than Trump was.
Well, he is our guy. So do you see the country being more divided under him, maybe less? You think we can unite under Trump?
That was going to be my next point. Just like your last guest, Harry, whatever the fuck his name was. Do you see that speech? And this is what I was saying all beforehand. Trump is going to become a battery for people like him. Now he's going to give them the green light to say and do what I want to do because I feel empowered now. Wow. I feel because Trump has given me that gave me that gumption and gave me that nerve to say what the fuck I want to say, and ain't nobody gonna do shit about it. That's how MAGA thinks, and he was a prime example of why we were so strong against MAGA. First of all, as black people, it took us a long time to get to where he's trying to take us. From that speech that guy was just saying. It took us a long time. And for us to have a black woman running for the highest position in the land, why wouldn't we support that? Why wouldn't we put that forefront? It cost a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for her to even get into that position. No, it wasn't just sucking dick. So y'all find something else to talk about.
Yeah, and they definitely believe that she slept her way to that position. It's hard to get anybody on the right to believe that she deserved to be where she was. The idea that she slept her way to the top was, Trump was saying it himself to some degree. I don't know what he was doing with the microphone. That's a whole different other story, but...
He was totally filleting the microphone, but yet they talking about censorship and having stuff with kids couldn't see. Y'all didn't have kids watching that rally. The devil is a lie. He was up there like he was sucking dick. I said, well, I guess he was practicing for when he meet up with Putin again.
So what about that though? People believe that when it comes to standing up to Putin and standing up to dictators and things like that, they believe Trump would be way more effective than Kamala Harris though. How do you feel about that?
He absolutely won't. They're all threatened by her. Let me tell you something, Tim. We can go back to I want y'all to go read that Willie Lynch letter. You know what that letter said? And I'm paraphrasing. It says, you don't have to do anything to the black male. You have to control the black woman, and she'll control the black male because she has all the sense. That's a whole threat. That's because you're threatened. She has the sense. Not only that, she also has the strength. We have just as much nerve as Trump does. Believe it or not, MAGA.
Oh, shit,
we do.
girl.
But again, you keep saying not you. But Magnum say, you keep saying race. You have to bring race up into this. Because that's a lot of the stuff, that's where it started.
And there's not likely, in your opinion, to be racial harmony under Trump. You sound like you think it's going to get worse.
It's going to be, like I said, you seen that fool that just got offline? Whatever his name was? It's horrible.
No.
It'll send us all the way backwards.
Yeah.
But now the thing is, we're not having it. You're not just gonna come up to us with no water hoses and dogs and shit and acting like that. People gonna let that fly. No, this is a different day and age, especially in certain areas.
But I'm going to say what I've been saying several times. You know, the notion that Trump's going to be some kind of racist leader or whatever. How do you respond to the fact that there's a lot of African Americans that voted for the guy? His numbers increased with people of color.
Those are, again, them stimulus check babies that actually still live in fear. Like I said, they probably still say, yes, boss. Okay, boss, where would you like me to go, boss? How many barrels of cotton you want today, boss? That's them. And they keep saying, the Democrats are on the plantation. No, we're not. Trump got y'all thinking you're going to be rich when he get back in office. And guess what? Once he throw them tariffs on, your taxes are going to be up. The goods are going to be up. All of that stuff is going to be up. Your taxes up now. Guess whose tax plan we're under? Trump's.
Sound like you portraying Trump as a snake oil salesman.
Oh my God. That man is as slick as okra. He is as slick as okra. I'm telling you, he's an opportunist. And that's what he did. He saw the opportunity when it came to running into those who supported him. He saw that opportunity and he pounded on it. And that's where I give him credit. He even if it was a lie, he stood on it. I'm going to pound this until y'all actually believe what I say. And that's what was happening. That's what happened the whole campaign.
But then I got to ask, how could he do all that if it wasn't just merely a case of Kamala Harris being a terrible candidate? I mean, if he's able to do all this snake oil shit under Kamala Harris and people still picked him, that just makes Kamala Harris look like a bad candidate, in my opinion. I don't know, my last caller dropped. I'm trying to, the whole time while we were talking, she dropped. I'll keep moving on, but the whole time we were talking, you guys probably see me moving and shifting around. I'm trying to get there's a very sunny day here, so I had to do things to darken it up in the vehicle, so bear with me. I'm trying to control the lighting to keep the program somewhat manageable. But by the way, this is an audio program. You don't fucking need to look at my ass. I'm nothing to look at anyway, but for some of you folks, you are actually looking at me, so I'm trying to make the lighting work for that to happen. All right, looking in the comments, I got reported. Miss Mobetta, really? Really? Appealed that. I didn't know that's what happened. My last caller is saying that she got reported by somebody. Wow. It does happen on the show. I don't block, ban, or censor anyone, so you hear comments coming from all directions. I'm about free speech, but some folks in the comment section, sometimes that can happen. You should be appealed that. I didn't hear what you said. It was that damn bad. Let me look in the comment section. That's always the excuse, says Chris. What do you mean the excuse? Elaborate on what you're talking about there. He is with his first love, North Korea and Russia. Give Trump a chance, says, I can't pronounce the name there. I've said that on my live. while I am 100% believing that Trump and MAGA would not have given the liberals a chance, I don't believe in all of this tit for tat shit. Trump won by a lot, and I do believe, or at least in my personal mindset, I'm going to get a guy a chance. I'm still having problems with shit in this car, but I'm going to personally get a guy a chance. But I am going to say for certain, I don't believe that Trump would have done the same for Democrats. There's no way in hell. I think he would have did what he's on course of doing. He would have said the election was stolen once again. He was already saying it. 24 hours ago from now, Trump was saying there was a fraud. Now that he's won, he's not complaining about fraud anymore. So I don't know. I don't believe Trump would have conceded to Kamala. I don't believe he would have shook her hand or any of that. I do believe he would not have given Kamala a chance, but he won. And I'm not like that, at least. And hopefully more Democrats are not like that. And they do give him a chance. But we'll see. Looking in the comments, Buckeye, appreciate the crown, by the way. Thank you, Buckeye 40. Every time I see your name, I think about last night. All right, I am hoping for the best, says Sabrina. So am I. And that's why I congratulated. My first video this morning was to the Trump supporters, the Republicans, conservatives, MAGA. Congratulations. It was a big win. Last night was literally the definition, and I'm going to ask you folks to tap the screen, get me on up to about 70,000 on the likes, show the program some love, same on YouTube, smash that like button, get us up to about 160 if that's possible, and I got the vertical feed going back again, so on YouTube, you guys are getting all of my screen on the horizontal feed, because this is the only way I can make the show possible. It's pretty bright outside, but I did congratulate him, because the fact is, no matter how you feel about what happened last night, it was the definition of a red wave. Trump won by a lot. Electoral college, significant victory there. Popular vote. How the hell how often do you hear of a Republican candidate winning the popular vote? When's the last time you heard that? So his win was historic. He won the Senate and the House. So he's now in control of the Senate, control of the House, has a 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court, likely to replace anywhere from 2 to 4 more Supreme Court justices. This is a red wave. This is what Trump was talking about when he stated several years ago, if you elect me, you're going to get tired of winning. He is now in a position where very little that is challenged is going to proceed. I mean, he's got, like I said, a very far-right Supreme Court, control of the Senate, control of the House, and a whole bunch of loyalists are going to be on his administration. Not to mention there's probably a whole bunch of loyalists in Congress and the Senate as well. What he says goes. That is it. That is the definition of Trump's term from this point on. What he says goes. Doesn't even matter if it's legitimate or not. There are no more John McCain's, no more General Milley's, no more Ambassador Bowden's. What he says will go, period. Not saying he's a dictator, not saying he's going to do any of this shit, but I am going to say with confidence, he is in a position, if he wanted to do it. There should be no reason Trump can't get anything done in this term. That's a fact. I agree with that 100%. There's so much support for Trump, there should be no excuse for him to say, well, I couldn't do this or couldn't do that. Everything he says should go. No president in our lifetime has had more mechanisms of government on his side than Trump has. If you can't get it done with all of these handicaps, you ain't the man. He should not once should he ever be blaming Congress or Senate or any of the mechanisms of government for holding him back. If you can't get it done with this much shit in your favor, you ain't good at unity. You're not good at unity. I mean, you got everything on your side. I don't want to hear anything that you couldn't get done. That would make him look bad, in my opinion. Cryptic Bone Collector says, I better not hear him complain. He shouldn't have any complaints. Maybe a complaint or two from a liberal governor, maybe from there, but for the most part, in terms of meeting his own promises, if you can't get it done with all this on your side, you ain't the man. Let me go back to the box Thank you, folks that are tapping the screen. Get the likes back on up to about 60,000. We're close. We can certainly do that. I do want to go to another caller. We'll go to Tiffany. Got a few females in here. I want to know, why didn't the females, as many females projected, why didn't they show up for Kamala Harris? I'll be curious to know. I'll see if it brings up Tiffany. Prices will go up after he implements those tariffs. I know people that were personally frightened for Trump because of those tariffs. We'll see if Mark Cuban and some of the economic analysts were correct. In my opinion, just like folks are saying with the whole police immunity and some of Trump's other promises, I don't think you're going to ever see those tariffs. Not at that level. I think that even some of his own loyalists will tell him, sir, if you do this, it'll destroy. I don't think you're going to see those tariffs. I think that Trump, as some of my viewers have suggested, says things to play to certain audiences, but when it comes down to having to actually implement it, I don't think you're going to see that. I don't think you're going to see those tariffs, because I do believe that most Americans would not benefit from that. When did they announce the GOP won the House? They haven't officially announced it, but the writing's already on the wall. So I'm going to announce it, just like they didn't want to announce last night that he was a president-elect. I was already saying it on my show. I was saying last night, if Kamala Harris had the lead Trump had, they would have been calling her the president-elect 2 hours earlier. They're a little hesitant to give Trump the credit, but the writing's all over the wall of this shit. He's going to win the House. So I'll leave it at that. States shattered early vote records, but total votes less than 2020. Yeah, less for him and her. But he won the popular vote. Two very unpopular candidates. Just like Trump versus Hillary Clinton were two of the most unpopular candidates. Democrats weren't that excited about Kamala Harris. They were excited about getting rid of Trump. Republicans were excited about Trump. But there's a lot of traditional Republicans that were not. The Nikki Haley supporters. My guess is if Trump did that much damage to her, Nikki Haley would have did even more. I think Nikki Haley would have even been worse, in my opinion, because the Never Trumpers would have voted for her too. Yes, so how is that possible? Where did the votes from 2020 go? How did they disappear? Some people didn't show up. Some people didn't vote. That's my opinion. You know, Trump versus Biden, more people probably voted than they said Trump won 70 million last night or something like that. And there were more voters in the 2020 election than there was last night. That's the way I'm gonna look at it. Let me go back to the box. My last guest did not come up. We'll go to another subscriber. I don't know what I'm trying to bring up there. What does that say? Or something like that. We'll go to him indeed. What is it? Actually, when all the voters are counted, Donald will have over 7%, 76 million. That is higher than 20. So you're saying Trump is going to get more than 76 million. Well, let's see once they count it, and we'll talk about that. Jay, good afternoon. The J, are you there? You're on mute.
Good, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. What is your take on last night? What the hell happened? Why did Kamala lose by so much?
Without waxing on right here in the beginning, I'll just say she's a woman. That's the reason. I promise you it's that simple.
So you too believe misogyny had a lot to do with it?
100%. And here's the thing, it's not just for men. There are a bunch of women with that ideal as well. And with that ideal, it's called internalized misogyny.
What do you mean?
Where when you have a country and a society that has been predicated on these ideas for so long, it's hard for even some of those women to imagine a woman being the leader of such a powerful country.
Wow. Now, I will say in your defense, because I've been doing lives for, a few years now, I have had women tell me no real man would ever vote for a woman to be in charge of this country. I had one woman, I think Texas mom, she comes on the program all the time, and she says she too believes in the hierarchy: God, man, woman, child. So you are correct. Some women don't believe a woman should have that job.
I mean, think about it, Tim. America lauds itself as the biggest, most freest, most open-minded country in the world. Yet there are so many countries, including developing countries around the world, who's had at least one woman as their leader.
Yeah, New Zealand, I think Madeleine Albright over in the UK, Angela Merkel in Germany. Does Mexico have a female leader now? I think Mexico maybe.
They do. She's new.
Yeah.
And you look at New Zealand with Jacinda Ardern, that country was one of the best countries in handling COVID.
Yeah.
Because they relied on the science.
Wow. I see somebody said, I see in the comments, Raptor says 5 out of 160, LOL. I mean, in other words, there's not a lot of them, though.
And the thing about it is this. Both times he won, it was against a woman that was overwhelmingly more qualified than him. Overwhelmingly.
Yeah, well, Hillary Clinton, you make a good point, because I said that before in the program when they were saying that Kamala Harris wasn't qualified. If you looked at her resume only, not what she'd done while she was in office, but her resume only, she literally has a resume that looks like somebody who's climbing to the presidency.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I will go further and say this. One of the other reasons is, and I've been trying not to do this, but I've been doing these lives now and participating in them for the last 2 years, more so than any other time. I try not to use this word, but Americans are dumb.
Why do you say
and
that?
It's in the numbers. Thank you so much for asking that question. The literacy in America as it stands, 50+% of us are on an 8th grade level in terms of literacy. Around 20% of us are on a 6th grade level.
Well, as one man might have said, I love the uneducated.
There we go. See, so we on this same road here. So when you're trying to tell people how government works, when you're trying to tell them about the 3 branches of government, when you're trying to tell them about the importance of Supreme Court justices, they're not really listening to that. When you try to tell them about the economy, about how any administration's economy doesn't stop as soon as they leave office, when you try to tell them that since the 1940s, the GDP, and that's another thing, I have to explain to them what the GDP means. When you try to explain to them, since the 1940s, that historically, Republican-led administrations, GDP is around 2.1 to 2.3%. And for Democrats, it's around 4.1 to 4.3% every single time. And when you see this happens continuously since the 1940s, and you tell me that you care about the economy, how is that possible when you vote against the economy's own interest?
Well, and I do agree with the phrase people often say it's the economy's stupid, but under this case, folks are saying that they left the border unsecure. Folks are believing that we're getting involved in too many overseas conflicts. You got to understand, a lot of that may have hurt Kamala too, right?
Yes, and here's the thing about that. I get that people want to connect her to Joe Biden, but there's another thing where people don't even understand the purpose and the actions of a vice president.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. That it is crazy to suggest that Kamala Harris is responsible for a bad economy and all this stuff. The VP don't have anything to do with any of that. But I will say this: Biden, unlike Trump, Biden was doing a terrible job in speaking and preaching to the people about his accomplishments. So Trump could get good.
Wait, Tim.
Go ahead.
I hate to cut you off on that. The Democrats are horrible with their messaging.
Yeah.
They are the worst. Sure, there are a lot of smart people over there. I believe there's smart people in Republicans, Independents, even Libertarians, all of that. But the Democrats in their messaging, they're not there. Trump speaks to people in a way that they can understand because, again, 50+% of this country is illiterate. And he knows how to speak to them.
Illiterate but voting.
There it is. Let me ask you this. Do you remember the movie Idiocracy?
No.
Okay, just really quickly, what happens in Idiocracy? There's a man who's put in this chamber that puts him to sleep essentially, and he's supposed to be there for not a long period of time, but over time, what happens is the smarter people stop having babies. The dumber people keep running it up. like it's a race, right? So what happens to America is when he finally gets out of this chamber, America is extremely dumbed down and are slaves to capitalism. Everybody is wearing the same clothes. Everybody is wearing the same shoes. The president of this country is a former actor and wrestler. They can't grow plants because they're giving it Gatorade, because Gatorade has electrolytes, not water.
Well, as Buckeye might say in the comments, maybe we need more dumb people to work at McDonald's. So we need, because that's what he said in the comments. Because keep in mind, think of it this way. They're going to go after it and prevent so many migrants from coming in the country, which are some of the folks that may work some of the lesser educated jobs, while they are placing limitations on abortion in a lot of states. Maybe that is the goal, is to have some more employees at that level that are Americans as opposed to foreigners to do those jobs.
Yes, 100%. And for Kimmy B237, who asked me if I believe that the Black Americans and Mexican Americans who voted for Trump are dumb, yes. I don't mind telling you that. See, and the reason why I don't mind telling you that is this, and this one right here hurts him. When I'm telling people about this literacy rate, I'm not celebrating this. I'm not throwing it in your face as a ha-ha. It hurts. For Black American men, only 1% of us are reading on a proficient level. That hurts. That's according to Sage Journals. What Sage Journals does, they're a collective of not just scientists, but academics who study the literacy rate of our entire school system. Speaking of our entire school system, when you're talking about getting rid of the Board of Education, the reason why I can't explain to you why that is a problem is because you think the Board of Education controls your curriculum. They do not. The Board of Education is largely a funding arm to assist the schools around this country, public schools. And the reason why that hurts is because the state that I'm in, Alabama, these states, Alabama, Mississippi, West Virginia, stuff like that, those states hover around the dumbest states in the country every year. We're always close to the lowest one. We also don't have a lot of money here. The life expectancy here is low. So when you eliminate the Board of Education, what do you think is going to happen to the money for the schools in these places that need it?
And speaking of that, the Board of Education, I see DJT, Donald J. Trump, 2024 on YouTube said, goodbye teachers union. So in other words, now that they control every damn thing, and you're talking about all the stuff you're mentioning, the teachers union is going to be trash.
And here's the thing, a few other things, so that I don't hold up from the other callers. If you're talking about fuel, the fuel prices have been going down now since August. Not only am I driving my own personal vehicle, but I'm also driving an 18-wheeler. I know that personally, specifically. It's been going down since August. If you're talking about how we're getting our oil right now in this country, and please, everybody, please back me up on this. Don't just take my word for it. We're drilling more in this country than we ever have in the history of this country.
Yeah, I've heard that, but we can't use the fuel that we drill. We can't refine it. So we export that and we import stuff that is more easier to use. And people are complaining because we import. They're saying, well, we should be drilling. But you're right. We are doing that. But that's what I said. The Democratic messaging has been very poor to the point where so many people believe this bullshit when it's not true. I got to move it on, Jay. You know how we do.
Okay, give me one second before we get out of here. I promise. And I'm gonna drop myself when I get done. This is the same person that we reelected who told us not only were we gonna get the border wall, but he was gonna make Mexico pay for it. Never happened. I don't think it's gonna happen this time around either. When we are talking about those tariffs, when you talk about your groceries, let us not forget that during his administration, we lost 1,000 legacy farms. 1,000. Those farms had to sell to mega farms. When the mega farms get their money on that crop, what do you think the crops are going to be like when it gets to your grocery store? These are the things that I'm talking about. When literacy matters, I can't explain to you how government works because you feel how you want government to work, not how you know it is. Nevertheless, Tim, I don't want to hold you up too much longer, good brother. I thank you for the time. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And I see in the comments, Buckeye says we always say thank God for Alabama and Mississippi. What do you say? They're more backwards than Georgia? The Georgians always say thank God for Alabama and Mississippi, so they take some of the spotlight off of Georgians. Is that what I'm hearing? Tap the screen, folks. Get the likes up to about 75,000. Help out the program, help out the algorithm. We don't block, ban, or censor. Wow, alter ego. I gotta say, shout out for the galaxy. I haven't seen the galaxy in so damn long. I felt like the space program had been canceled. So thank you for the galaxy. I do appreciate that. It helps out the support. By the way, I am now horizontal on YouTube as well. So the support helps that stuff because I'm running literally 3 mobile devices on this shit. There is a cost to it. It's not a lot, but there is a cost to producing it. So thank you for your support. It does help. Elon, the minister of France. Yeah, what is he going to give Elon? What will Elon Musk, because he likely is going to get some kind of involvement in this. I don't know if he's going to be minister of finance. Yeah. I don't think anybody would disagree. Elon Musk is certainly a successful businessman. I think we've heard that before. Elon Musk is the minister of finance. I wish he hadn't got involved in politics. I've said it about Elon Musk. Elon Musk could be a great guy for all. I wish he wasn't getting involved in some of the divisive things that politics involve. And I do believe Jeff Bezos of Amazon, because he prevented his paper from endorsing Kamala Harris, I think he saw the writing on the wall, because even the betting sites overseas were letting you know Trump was going to win. I think that Jeff Bezos, the world's second richest person behind Elon Musk, probably saw the writing on the wall and prevented his paper from endorsing Kamala Harris. Because at the end of the day, one thing I can say for certain is this: Trump rewards loyalty. If you are on his side and he is victorious, he will let you ride his coattails to some degree. You seen Vivek Ramaswamy out there? Vivek Ramaswamy is literally the definition of a coattail rider. Shout out to him, though. It's going to involve riches. Tim Scott, these folks are going to do fairly well for following Trump's coattails. You see what he said about Megyn Kelly doing his first presidential run, indicating that she was on her menstruation cycle and shit like that? Guess who she endorsed? She realizes it. So, hey, look, at the end of the day, I've said a lot of things disparaging the former President Trump, but shit, if I thought I could make millions of dollars by hanging around him for a minute, I ain't gonna say I'm above that shit. These folks are gonna make a ton of money. Elon Musk, for instance, is likely to get all sorts of government contracts. He's a genius. He already is doing, Starlink, electric vehicles. Maybe the government starts using some of this shit. You notice how Trump changed his tune against electric vehicles when Elon started endorsing them? Suddenly the lithium batteries weren't so explosive anymore. Suddenly the range of electric cars wasn't such a big concern anymore. Elon Musk going to make it. I mean, it's like an oxymoron at this point, but Elon Musk is going to make a ton of money under Trump. A ton of additional money under Trump. And I think Jeff Bezos wants part of that. Will G, like I said, Trump and Vance literally bullshitted their way into office. Nothing will reflect, and they will bullshit their way out of responsibility. I don't think they really have to do all of that, Will. I think MAGA's going to ride with them no matter what. If you think you can shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and not have any problems, getting caught for some bullshit is a mere formality. Will G says Trump will try to make Elon Iron Man in real life. Elon Musk will be immortal under the Trump administration. He will, as long as he don't say or do anything that puts him at odds with Trump, Elon Musk will become immortal under Trump, in my opinion. Black Rain. I gotta get that. I don't have, you said Venmo. I got the Cash App. I gotta get that. Appreciate the inquiry. I don't have that yet. I wasn't expecting you to say that. Glad we are teaching our children that it's okay to bully and treat people like shit. Be careful. I don't, Chanel, I don't have any, no, I can't challenge that. People are saying that your child should toughen up. You know, you sit your 3-year-old in front of an episode of Archie Bunker and teach him how to behave. You watch all in the Family. I mean, that is what people are starting to tell us, is the kids should toughen up, learn how to take some insults. They are saying that now. The Handsome Liberal at Cash App. I appreciate that too, Black Rain. $, The Handsome Liberal. You'll see my picture and everything on that. I appreciate that. Whatever that is, Thank you. But yeah, it's right there on the profile too. But $, the handsome liberal. Popular vote plus some. No one can say anything about Trump, our president. We have enough enemies. Let's go, America. I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but I think you'll get more of the no one can say anything about Trump if Trump doesn't spend his presidency saying a bunch of things about other people. I think we could make this work if he genuinely focuses on making America better and does not get involved in a lot of social arguments. Fact is, let the Sean Hannitys and Tucker Carlsons, you got a whole entourage of folks who will happily go after enemies of yours. You don't need to do it. Just like you didn't really see, Biden referred to MAGA as garbage a few days ago. He had the whole speech calling MAGA ultra MAGA with the red background in the Marine. I think he did that about a year or so ago. But for the most part, Biden wasn't going after every single celebrity that said something negative about it. He wasn't doing that. If Trump goes into that mode, or Obama, or any of these other folks who weren't doing that, George W. Bush wasn't doing it, we might be to make it work. We might be. But if he want to take a stance of everybody who attacks me, I'm going to attack them back, then it's just going to be more problematic. Let me go back to the box. Biden did last week or so. Yeah, he used the garbage term. I brought that up. Biden called Trump supporters garbage a couple weeks ago, and he talked about ultra MAGA about a year ago. Other than that, Biden has not made a habit of attacking MAGA very much. He don't really talk about them. Trump is constantly talking about somebody. Yeah, they talked about him first. Well, that's just a bunch of back and forth. Will G, 4 years of Trump toddler swaying to YMCA. He definitely played a lot of YMCA. I went to a couple Trump rallies, and they play, so you got to be old, because they play a lot of old music at his rallies. Elvis, I heard ABBA. Like, damn, do you have anything from at least last decade? During the intermission, you're sitting there, you're waiting for Trump to come on stage or between speakers. Everything they played was like the 60s and 70s. Like, damn, how old am I supposed to be at this motherfucker? I'm in my 50s, and I'm like, damn. Do you have anything from last decade at least? Like, the music they were playing was really, really for old people. Really for old people. And they were doing that from every rally. I mean, when did YMCA come? That's got to be in the 1970s, the disco era, right? YMCA is probably almost 50 years old. Let me go back to the box. Like, man. And then, of course, you've seen Bill Maher making fun of Trump's dance where it looks like he's jacking off two people. One of the things I will say about Trump, because folks are like, you just talking shit because you're a content creator. There is some validity to that. I talk about the politics on the channel, but I'll go to the box. But one of the things I will say, Trump will provide eons, for lack of a better term, eons more content than Kamala Harris ever would have. Because he's just literally a content machine. So you're going to get a lot more content from Trump than anybody else. So for a content creator, there is a backdoor benefit to that. If that's a term I should be using. Texas born. Good afternoon. I also think Kamala's rallies gave the impression of high voter turnout. They did. They did give I thought they were high voter turnout though. I mean, she had a lot of the celebrity crew. Crazy thing is, she raised a ton of money, $1 billion. It's crazy that a candidate can raise that kind of money and still lose. All of that money wasted, all of the advertising, the money the television stations made, billboards, all of that shit. I don't want to hear how poor we are. Or we can't do this for immigrants, or not immigrants, but American citizens. We can't give people free lunches. We can't afford it. We can afford a lot of shit in this country. We just have to give a damn about the people who need it. The moment we cared about whether Trump or Kamala Harris became president, America suddenly found a way to produce a whole lot of fucking money. But when somebody is poor or struggling and they need a little, well, who's going to pay for that? We don't have any money. The fuck you don't? You just spent almost $2 billion on a presidential campaign. You do have a lot of money. Quit being selfish and admit the damn truth. Let me go back to the box. And that's just that campaign. The Senate the congressional, all of those campaigns, there's money floating every fucking where. You can't afford it. You're right. Larry Pekin, good afternoon. Shit, twin, I'm still living with my mama. You get the point, though. All of those political races, there is a ton of money floating around. Just Trump and Kamala Harris alone is probably damn near $2 billion. Motherfuckers buying shoes and Bibles and hats. I got 5 Trump hats my damn self. Tell me we ain't got no money in this country. Get the hell up out of here with that. The box is playing games. I'm trying to bring up another guest, but the box is taking time. I'll let it reset. When was the last time anybody saw an elderly person putting groceries back and offered to pay for it? I actually did that not long ago. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in store. I've seen it happen at least twice in my life. Not buying a whole lot of shit. Maybe a mom wants to buy a kid a toy or whatever. Look, we ain't getting that today. Here's $5. Go ahead and get that for him. I mean, that happens. I've handed money out. I was watching some guy on the street with a violin playing music the other day, and it was actually fairly rhythmic. Had a sign in front. I got 4 kids in a little bucket. I put $5 in there. Just one dude. $5 ain't shit, but I'm just one dude. Hell, I've been on here for 3 hours. Hell, that money adds up. That money adds up. I got a few folks donating to this program. If I had everybody donated one day, it means a lot. It adds up. I put $5 in there. So the idea that we don't have money in this country is ridiculous. I think it's more of a selfish issue. I really do, because that presidential race showed people are willing to produce money when they favor what's happening. They just don't favor helping out homeless people. C. Osby, thank you for the hat mustache. Yeah, appreciate your support. Thank you. I'll try another caller. My box is acting funny here, so maybe it's that time. DATUM, let's try to bring him up. If next year groceries don't go down, I want to see MAGA crying about Trump. They're not going to be crying about Trump. They'll be told this for another reason. Trump ain't got nothing to do with it. Dad, good afternoon. Are you there? Apparently he's there, but he's not there. We'll move on with the program. Irene Strong, appreciate the support. Thank you very much. KCLS Tube, good afternoon. We miss Trump and his stimulus packages for America, not Ukraine and illegal immigrants. You're not going to get another stimulus package out of Trump. That ain't coming back.
If you was good at certain foods, stuff like that, what do you think you would kind of advertise as far as what you feel you're best at?
So I work in fine dining, so I'm all right at hand making my pastas.
Okay, I'm interrupting somebody.
I can do some duck and proteins.
All right, apparently I'm interrupting somebody that sounds like they're on an interview. Is he in class or an interview? I sound like he's in an interview. Some folks are on hold, and by the time I come around to them, they're doing something else. They already say and stuff is cheap. Yeah, I tell you this. In my opinion, if the economy continues doing exactly what it's doing now, Texas born. Tried to bring you up. Thank you. Appreciate that. Even if Trump does nothing, the economy keeps going on the trajectory it's going on. I think in 6 months, it will still be easy to convince MAGA that things are better. We're doing the best we are. I'm going to say this. Maybe some Trump supporters that don't favor it, whatever the case may be, I'm for free speech, but I don't think that MAGA is going to really challenge what Trump says. If he tells you you're doing good, damn it, you're doing good. It's simple as that. No matter what you're paying. If he tells you right now America's doing better than it's ever been doing, that generally is enough. And I think under the same situation, if Biden or Kamala was to tell you we're doing good, no, we need to check the numbers out. I just think that he gets a pass on a lot of that. I'll leave it at that. The collaboration. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Shoveling shit and saying it's sugar, says Double.
Saying it's sugar, says Double.
You got an echo. Are you on Bluetooth?
Oh, my bad. Let me,
Are you on Bluetooth?
I am. Let me turn it off.
All right.
How's that?
Loud. Yeah, that's better. That's much better.
Cool, man. I never thought I was going to get on here for real.
A few people wanted to talk, but it's good to have you on.
Absolutely. I actually came from YouTube. I'm fairly new to the channel, but I wanted to talk about specifically how people are talking about how. Wow, I actually feel nervous, man. It's kind of cool. But I wanted to talk.
You're doing fine. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, no, like literally, I wanted to talk specifically about how people are saying that Kamala lost because she's a woman.
Yeah.
I think that that's ridiculous.
Really?
I do want to start off by saying, though, I voted for Biden last time, right?
Okay.
And this time, I started doing my own research, like a lot of independents and people who switch sides, and that's what made me actually make those decisions. And I think that the number one thing that made her lose a vote is her policy. People want to completely ignore the fact that she had terrible policies that go against what a lot of people believe. I personally am a black man who voted for Trump. I think it's completely offensive to say that people who voted for Trump don't have an IQ or don't have an education. That's ridiculous, especially looking at the number of people who did vote for him. But going back to my point.
Let me interrupt to say this. I haven't seen the exit poll numbers, but I do believe if you look at college graduates versus non-college graduates, he probably did do far better with the non-college graduates. I think Kamala Harris probably did do better in that category.
Okay, but one quick question for you. Do you think that college education equates to intelligence? Directly.
Let me say this. Yes, I do believe it equates to intelligence in some levels. I mean, you go to school and you didn't learn nothing. Yeah, I do. I mean, I got 3 college degrees. I will say that I believe that some of the things that maybe a candidate may promise, that if you got an education, there is no way in hell he could ever deliver this. And I think if you don't, some people, you're going to be more susceptible to some of the tricks if you don't have any education.
Okay, so the one thing that I think that people, when we talk about intelligence in this country, I think that people automatically equate that with the college education, which I don't think is a bad thing. I respect it. Personally, I did not go to college, but I grew up in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, which is a college town. I got a very, very good education, and I proceeded to go to trade school for myself because I didn't personally think that college was the right route for myself. Take that however you will, but again, my point is that her policy goes against what a lot of people might believe. For instance, the open border policy, the transgender policies that she and that's the thing too. She said that she would follow the law when she got in office, but there's videos literally bragging about how she would change the law so that people can have these transgender surgeries. There's videos of her bragging about how she could, with the swipe of her pen, throw black people in jail. So why are you surprised that black people didn't want to vote for her?
Let me interrupt to say a few things. First of all, in regards to the transgender thing and her talking about changing the law, this is why I say some folks may hold one side accountable and the other side not. There is Trump saying, putting the Constitution to the side and talking about taking away guns first without giving people due process, and the right kind of overlooked that. But that's the same thing about changing the law. He has literally talked about suspending the Constitution. And you're bringing up Kamala Harris with transgender talking about changing the law. So you're holding her accountable for that. But when he says something like suspend the Constitution or take away guns first without giving due process, which is on video saying that.
I can push back on that too, because and I appreciate you being reasonable about that. But I think that if we're gonna talk about it objectively from both sides, when Trump is pushed on, I don't want to run out of time.
You're good. Don't worry about it.
But I want to make this one point, and then I want to say something else. But when Trump, and it's not just Trump in his entirety. I look at Trump as a team, just like I feel like we should look at Kamala as a team. Who's running with her? Who's running with Trump? I like Trump not just because of Trump, and a lot of people are backing him not just because of him, but because of Vance, but because of Tulsi Gabbard, RFK.
That whole Trump as a team thing works when the team is doing something good. But that Madison Square Garden rally where there was a comedian, all of a sudden now he ain't on the team. You're talking about if you're going to attribute people for running together, then the people he invited to that Madison Square Garden rally was a team too, right?
Sure. And I mean, honestly, if I'm Trump, honestly, and I'm like, again, I said I'm a black man. I'm black. I'm actually Puerto Rican and Native American. So I'm the whole pot. You know what I'm saying? The whole recipe. But regardless, I thought that the joke, like when I heard that joke personally, just like everybody in that audience, I said, okay, cool, like, haha, funny joke, whatever. But it wasn't such a serious thing. But it was an opportunity for the left to go, hey, look, they are racist. Like, but most people who can think for themselves, and this goes back to my other point, and true intelligence is the ability to formulate for yourselves your own opinion, to take the information and to make your own opinion. And a lot of people do not have that, but they claim to be smart people. They claim to be morally correct people, but they don't even, they will, that's the most offensive thing that came out of this entire thing. Because honestly, that's what solidified my standing in this entire election, was the fact that every single point that you look, you just see all of these liberals saying, hey, the Republicans are stupid. They're not doing their research. They're uninformed or misinformed, I mean to say.
Yeah, but you're a black man. You're a black man, correct?
Yes, sir.
You never been told you were on a Democratic plantation and you guys are just sheep? I mean, that's coming from both sides.
But again, that's divisiveness. And that's another point I would like to make. There's so many people, especially I hear it on your podcast all the time. So many emotional people, man. Like that's like the emotions need to be absolutely completely removed from our political system. I had I do medical transportation, so I take people to and from the doctors, right? Mm-hmm. I had a lady in my car yesterday. I was just talking to her, to see how she felt about, the election and things like that. And almost immediately, she's just like screaming in my car, like, "Oh, I don't like to, I don't like to have these conversations because blah, blah, blah." And I'm just talking to her like I'm talking to you. Like I like to have level-headed, good conversations because that's how it should be. Right. When it gets to the name calling, and on both sides, when I hear Trump saying, "Oh, they're communists or whatever," and I mean, even if I agree with you, that kind of language is only divisive. It's only going to tear people apart. And so when people talk about Trump supporters or people who voted for Trump, and they talk about people in such a negative light, and you can say the same thing on the other side. Whichever side is talking badly about the other, you got to know that all you're doing is vilifying the other side, dehumanizing. Yeah, because I was going to say when you talked about people being emotional, you're not the only one. I get a lot of MAGA that talk about, vote based on policy, don't vote based on your emotion. And my comeback is generally, if you're going to call people libtards, socialists, Marxists, tell them to their face, fuck your feelings, fuck, FJB, let's go Brandon, calling people snowflake. What do you think they're going to do? Just sit there and smile? I mean, you're trying to trigger emotion. But then when you trigger it, you're mad that it's coming out? Well, Tim, I grew up in Chapel Hill. I grew up around just straight liberal people. I grew up, I'm a theater kid. I do music and things like that, right? So I grew up very, very comfortable with liberal people. I had a lot of friends who were gay. There was actually 2014, 2015, there was a kid at my school who went through the whole transgender transformation, with the not the entire thing, but
what's your point?
I'm very comfortable with those things, but I believe in what I believe. And when I see things start to turn, so it's like I said, growing up, I felt a certain way. Like I was very comfortable, and I still feel the same way. I'm not getting the relevance to what I just stated. Though what I'm saying is, you can't tell people I'm looking to have liberal tears and fuck your feelings, and then complain, "Oh my God, he's triggered, he's emotional." Wasn't that the goal? Oh well, that goes. I already said that. I think that's divisiveness, and that's not cool on either side. Okay. Because at the end of the day, you got gay people who support Trump. You got gay people who support Kamala, whatever.
Kamala, like the punctuation. It don't matter now. It's irrelevant. You're not going to be saying her name much longer now. But keep going.
Well, but see, that's my thing. It's all about respect. It's all about doing what's right, and it's all about the truth. Those are it's all about what's morally correct, what's the right thing. And people have gotten so far away from that because they want to do what feels right. And see, and I didn't mention this also, but I'm a Christian man. I believe in Christian values, and I'm not going to force that on anybody or anything, but this country has lost so much of its moral value system. It's like what's right and what's wrong. What's a woman?
I don't-
What's a man? You know, we can't agree on anything because we have no moral value system.
Yeah, I've said in the program many times, I think that whole this country Christian value stuff is a farce. The way we're treating immigrants in this country, is that what Jesus would do to poor people trying to come in this? We're the richest nation on earth, and our moniker is now, we're going to focus on Americans first. We're going to only spend our money on each other. The wealthiest, is that something Jesus would do?
See, Tim, I don't really see it that way. I do. Well, so like again, there are extremists, right? Like
that's coming from the White House now.
Right. But there are people on there. There's going to be people on all sides of these situations. But
we're talking about the president, though. We're not talking about people. We're talking about from the White House. Their moniker is going to now be America first. We're only focusing on us. We're no longer going to send money. We're not going to send money to poorer countries overseas. We are the richest nation, and we're going to spend our money on us. That sounds Christian to you.
America first doesn't mean America only, and I know you've heard that.
It ain't got nothing to do with just that. He's made it clear we are going to stop sending money overseas to poorer nations. He said that clearly.
And I mean, maybe he would do that in the mean term, but we got to remember, Tim, that he's not even though he said
I didn't say dictator. I said I didn't say dictator. I'm saying that what we're doing does not fit the notion of being Christian. I mean, we don't sound like we really give a damn about the downtrodden. Even in this country, we are against giving poor people universal health care and shit. We don't even want to help out the people in this country.
Well, see, that's why I said I have Christian values. And
there we go. That's better. That's better.
Right. So this is what I'm saying. A lot of people probably voted for Christian values, which would be wait, because most people don't agree with transgender surgeries for children, right? So like if we're gonna be real about it, most people do not, or at least Christian people do not agree with transgender. And so on that point alone, you could say that Trump could win the vote for Christian people, right? Because we have such extreme, and again, like I said, if you're an adult, you do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? But when it gets to the point where they're just like, literally, I watched I get Congress and Senate mixed up all in my head all the time. But I was watching one of the political hearings, right? And they're talking about this book called All Boys Are Blue. In this book, it graphically describes a man or a young boy being penetrated by another man. And that book is in elementary schools.
Hold on, let me say this. This stuff doesn't make sense to me because we talk about, forcing, LGBT issues and shoving it down the throats of kids. But yet, you do realize they're putting the Bible in school. The Bible talks about sodomy as well. Isn't that the same thing what you're talking about? A man being penetrated. What is sodomy? What is it?
I think that's a reasonable pushback. But again, I don't have personally a solid view on, or a solid opinion on what I believe in terms of the Bible being in schools. What I will say though, is that we should be free to read the Bible in school, right? Not necessarily during class time, you know what I mean? But like if a kid has a Bible at school during lunch or something like that, that should be allowed. Don't tell me I don't read the Bible. I'm not going to sit here.
Talk with me. Don't worry about the comments. Talk with me. Here's the point I'm talking about. The right keeps talking about what they don't like about the left forcing on their kids. Trump was just at a Trump rally the other day, basically imitating fellatio on a microphone. Kids are at those rallies. Not one Trump supporter said, that's bad to watch my kid imitate you sucking dick. No one said a damn thing about it.
I didn't see that. I haven't seen that.
It's all over YouTube.
I need to look that one up because I think that's also. But again, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I support that. Like you guys keep saying, not you, but people. And actually, I have heard it from you multiple times today. You keep saying whatever Trump does, we're just gonna support it. That's completely false.
I just gave you a prime example right now of them saying we don't like sexuality forced on our kids. But when Trump gets up there and imitates sucking dick, The whole complaint disappears.
I mean, we can go back to your point, Tim. You brought up Meg the Stallion earlier. I mean, like, because to your point earlier, are we gonna support everything that our party does, or back every person who does something in representation of our party? Probably not. Most, especially, like, look. Every Christian I've heard talk about this, they'll say, "Oh, Jesus isn't on the ballot this year, so we got to choose between the lesser of two evils." Which, I mean, whatever. But just
I don't know where you're going with that, other than the deflection. I'm just simply saying that it is Trump. Hold on, it is Trump in the right, not the liberals. It is Trump in the right that is complaining that things are being shoved down the throats of children. The left ain't complaining about that. That's what the right is complaining about. Yet when they do some of the same stuff that the left is doing, sexuality on kids, they suddenly don't care about it no more.
I don't know if that's completely true.
Give me some examples. Tell me why.
Well, I mean, I guess a good, personally, I feel how I feel. I think a good pushback on that would be that Biden literally just put like 3 or 4 different babies' feet in his mouth. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I actually used to do that to my little daughter when she was a kid. I put her hands.
But you didn't do it to strangers' daughters. So I think it's a little bit different. And so my point is that you're not going to agree with everything, but I'm talking about policy.
I'm laughing. I can't even believe you brought that up.
Right, because that's what I'm talking about. These things get swept under the rug. And let's, like, on the point of things being swept under the rug, why have we not talked about the allegations against Doug Emhoff? Why have we not talked about that?
What is that?
The fact that he knocked up his nanny and then assaulted that lady on the street?
Who's Doug Emhoff?
You haven't heard about Doug Emhoff attacking the lady on the street?
Who is Doug Emhoff?
Doug Emhoff?
Yeah.
Kamala Harris? What?
Oh, her husband. Her husband?
Yes, Tim.
Oh.
Like, that got completely swept under the rug, man. Like, he was accused of assaulting a woman. If Trump was ever accused of assaulting a woman, that would be on the news for 2 weeks.
True, but if, let's say, Michelle Obama, when Obama was running, if there were naked pictures of her all over the internet, like there are of Melania Trump, the right would be like, oh my God. I mean,
isn't she a model?
Yes.
And an adult. And an adult.
Yeah, like when allegedly Kamala Harris slept with Willie Brown 40-something years ago, wasn't she an adult too? It matters to them.
Yeah. Well, but see, the thing I'm not saying that that's wrong. I think that the reason why people bring that up is to question to question not just that time period, but to question her entire career.
You can see pictures of the first lady's pussy online. That is nothing to really be concerned about, huh?
I did not say that.
I did. I said it.
That would go under the bucket of things that I personally don't agree with. But again, Tim, I'm not going to vote for Kamala Harris, who goes against so many of my personal values and beliefs. On top of that, I do believe she's a liar.
Listen, at the end of it, you think Trump is honest?
No.
Okay.
I did not say that.
All right, fair enough.
And again, like we said, like people say, it's the lesser of two evils.
Okay, all right.
But
the reason why I brought it up is because you mentioned earlier about being Christian-based or whatever, and voting against, transgender surgery for children. I mean, do Christians, are they okay with what Melania Trump did? Is that Christian values? Like, she made money by showing pictures of her pussy. Is that okay with the Christians?
At the end of the day, Tim, I'll tell you that I don't agree with everything that Trump does or says. But I'll tell you this: I don't even know who Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are. They lie about so many different things.
Okay, and I'll give you credit for that. I don't dispute that. Kamala Harris keep in mind, as vice president, we didn't know a lot about Mike Pence either, and Kamala Harris has only been running for president since August. Trump's been running for president since June of 2023 after being president. So there's no way in hell we should know more about Kamala or even equally as much to Trump. Trump's been in the spotlight, not to mention how long he was a celebrity as well, but just even in politics. He was president for 4 years, and then he ran for president for another year and a half. Kamala's only been running for president for like 3 months. You should know a lot more about Trump.
Yeah, but there's a lot of questions about Kamala too, and those also are not being covered in the media. And I don't want to go off the deep end with it, but like I've been listening to a little bit of like Judge Joe Brown, for instance.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Tim. Oh yeah, because like and look, my thing is, Tim, because like I said, I don't believe fully in either side. But if there's a question to be raised, we should investigate the question.
All right. I'm not, you drive a hard bargain. I'm not going to argue with you on that, but I'll just say, I got to move it on, but I will say, listening to information about Kamala Harris from Judge Joe Brown is like me trying to tell you what Al Sharpton thought of Trump. That's about as biased as you can come with Judge Joe Brown.
It's not just Judge Joe Brown, but you know,
you like, brought him up.
Like I just said, if there's a question to be raised, we should look at the questions, because what really matters is the facts and the truth. It doesn't matter which side you're on. We should always look for what's actually true and leave our emotions in the back door.
I'll leave it at that. Appreciate you coming on. Doors always open
Tim,
to you.
I want to say thank you. I always leave comments about your objectivity, but I really do appreciate the platform that you have for us. This was my first time speaking with you, but I thought it went really well. I'm pretty new to the whole like political discussions and everything, but I appreciate you hearing me out, and I hope that anybody listening can move forward with more objectivity and more respect for each other, because that's what's most important, is the truth and how we really treat and value each other, you know. So God bless y'all.
Well said. We may disagree on a few things here or there, but you handled yourself well. My door's always open to you. Thank you for the accolade. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, and one more thing. Double Luck is tripping in the chat. He's straight tripping.
All right, gotta go. That's what my guests do. Moving on with the program. Looking in the comments, it's you with all the division, says Emily. All right, we'll leave it. You talking about my last guest? He was divisive. We get that here. Free speech reigns supreme on the program. Can I get you folks to tap the screen? Get us on over we almost at the 6-figure mark. I think you guys we're at 83. We can get to 100,000 likes for my TikTok viewers. By the way, folks, we don't block, ban, or censor. We are MAGA friendly, always have been, always will be. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. As I said, we don't block, ban, or censor. We go left of Bernie Sanders from having dinner with Q. Everybody gets to speak. If you favor that type of open dialogue from all sides of the aisle without any concern of a host trying to limit your opinion, feel free to follow the program on TikTok, YouTube, vertical and horizontal. Feel free to drop a subscription. Help out the show. The Simpsons TV show already predicted this back in the 1990s, that Trump would be president. Did they predict it? Well, he's already been president once. So if you grew up watching The Simpsons, this is right along the line of Donald Trump winning. All right. I do want to respond to a few super chats on YouTube. My apologies for not getting to it sooner. Trump would try to make Elon Musk Iron Man. I saw that, Will G. 4 years of toddler Trump. I seen that one out with the YMCA song. Trump with make off the good music. It's artists. Okay, you get the wording of this. Trump will make, you're saying that Trump's going to make money off the music he's playing? It's artists bend to his will. A lot of artists like Bruce Springsteen and Barry White, because he used to use his family, the late Barry White. A lot of folks told Trump to stop playing their music. A lot of folks did not want to associate with Trump. The guy, despite all the hatred, did very well last night. Total red wave. Will G says that is exactly what makes the right hypocrites. They complain about the homeless, but they don't want to do shit about it. I agree 100% that there is no love from the right. For social policies is a left thing. Many would suggest the only reason why people vote Democrat is because they quote unquote want free shit. In other words, we're not going to give you any of that. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps is the moniker on the right. You don't get free shit from the right. So when you hear folks on the right saying, well, instead of sending money to Ukraine or instead of helping out immigrants, we need to take care of Americans, that ain't gonna happen. There was no Ukrainian war under Obama. There were no huge open border issues under Obama. In fact, he deported more people than Trump. Yet, even when Obama tried to help out Americans by giving universal health care, the right was adamantly against that shit. They said he's trying to turn America into a socialist nation. The whole issue about we shouldn't be helping out other people, we should be doing for Americans first is bullshit. And I'll tell you why. You notice there's nobody bragging about how much they used to do for Americans before the war in Ukraine broke out or before we had an open border policy, because they weren't doing it. You notice even now when they're saying, well, we're going to stop sending money to the Ukraine, we're going to have the largest deportation in history. They're not filling it in what they're going to start doing for Americans with the money, because there's nothing coming. There's nothing coming down the pipe. Nobody is talking about once we stop sending money overseas, this is what we're going to do for the homeless, or this is what we're going to do for the poor. They're not saying that because it's not going to happen. You'll get what you want. No more money going to the Ukraine. No more issue with stuff going to illegal immigrants. But there's not going to be this whole thing of what we're now doing for Americans. So that ain't going to happen. Will G says they already think things are better just off the presence of Trump. While last week they were crying about groceries being too high, they're just hypocrites and opportunists. I don't know about that. They see help now coming. Okay, let's say you're stranded in the middle of the desert and you need help. You need somebody to help. Your car is no longer running. Well, once you make a phone call and you know help is on the way, you're going to start feeling better about that. They now know Trump is only 2 months away. They feel like help is on the way. That's why they feel better. America is for Americans only at Madison Square Garden. Yeah, that was said there, and that's what I'm talking about. Why do people keep talking shit about skin color? Because Europeans called themselves white in 1681 and put them above all people of different skin colors. It's also a status, and that's true. You often hear people saying, I had somebody on the show saying that last night. Why do you got to call yourself African American or, Hispanic or what? How about we just call ourselves Americans? And I actually pushed back and said, you can't call a group of people a certain label and then bitch about them when they start using the label. It's not like the Africans from the slave trade came over to this country and start calling themselves African Americans. That label was gave to them. Now, a few generations later, we're pissed off that they're using it. They didn't make it up. So the descendants of the same people that gave them this label are now telling them to stop using it. All right. Looking in the comments, guy at work told me, check my 401k, better already. That could be true. A lot of political campaigns, people speculate based on them. There are going to be changes to certain stocks and investments simply based on Trump winning the election. I'll tell you some of them. If Kamala Harris had won, the price of firearms, ammunition, and things like that would have likely went up, because it's always a belief that the liberals are going to take away everybody's guns. Remember when Obama got elected, the price of the AR tripled. The AR-15s, the price tripled because they believed that Obama was going to take away AR-15s. They also believed that Obama was going to destroy the U.S. economy. So people who think the U.S. dollar is going to fail, they tend to invest in gold and precious metals. The price of gold skyrocketed. So whoever wins the presidential race, it does affect certain stocks. Another example, Republicans tend to be tough on crime. So for-profit prisons, people who invest in for-profit prisons, they usually see a stock boost. Because people expect a Republican president, more people are going to get locked up. So now some of the things we do, like selling ramen noodle for $1 a pack and, selling people their soap and all, we're going to make a lot more money off of this stuff. All that stuff's marked up in prison. So, yeah, whoever wins, it does affect some stocks and some investments. And if you got a 401k, as you mentioned, and some of that goes into those various stocks, it makes a difference. It does make a difference. Some might suggest that the Russian ruble will become more valuable because Russia's not going to be dealing with the Ukraine kicking their ass as much under Trump. that country may start doing better now. Because Trump comes over, he breaks the war up, maybe helps Russia acquire a part of Ukraine or, resume their import-export market with Eastern Europe. Russia's going to start becoming a stronger country. So if you're investing in, currency exchanges and things like that, the Russian ruble may become more valuable. Obama cost people their homes with his policy. Zach C., what policy did Obama implement that cost people their homes? I'd be curious to know about that. Let me go back to the box. Continuing on with the program, one of my subscribers, once again, Andy. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Andy, now I know you're down in Alabama, but you are a liberal, a female that thought the females are going to come out and ride with Kamala Harris. How are you doing this morning?
I tell you were right, and I'm very disappointed in our country.
Wow. So the women didn't...
I could be not more disheartened at the level of misogyny and racism this country showed last night.
So you tend to agree with one of my earlier callers that the reason Kamala didn't win is partially because she's a woman?
Woman, come on now.
You said misogyny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at Hillary.
What about them saying that no,
Trump
it wasn't?
Always seems to win against women. That says a lot.
He does always seem to win against women. E. Carroll, he lost to E. Carroll so far.
It's because this country doesn't value us, and it's okay. Because they're going to see real quick that what we told them was going to come true.
But if you believe this country doesn't value women, how do you explain Trump getting such a large margin of women voters? He had to get at least 40% of them.
Internal misogyny works just as well.
On women. So women don't value women.
Internalized misogyny. There are women who hate themselves. There are women who, I was gender trained myself. Men get the biggest piece of meat. Men get, deference and everything. Make yourself smaller so they can be bigger. This is taught to us from the cradle.
Damn.
You have no idea how much women are told to make ourselves smaller so y'all can be bigger.
Wow. I've never heard that before. You were in Alabama, too. That may have something to do with it.
It's nationwide. It's just not as prevalently told.
If I'm correct, she lost every swing state, didn't she? Or they haven't decided some of them, but she didn't win a single swing state.
I don't know. All I know is that, like I said, I'm very disappointed. And that first 100 days, it's going to be a bitch.
What are you expecting?
I expect exactly what his little team wrote. He said he wanted to be dictator for a day. The Heritage Foundation had some internal messaging that I found when we scraped the internet about this country's 250th birthday next year. Years next, not 2025, but the next year.
Do you believe Project 2025 will materialize?
Constitution away.
Now he's denied Project 2025, for instance. Do you believe that there's some that will materialize?
Yeah. Wow. I'm already seeing it. They already did it to the Alabama Constitution. Hey, we did get another Democrat in Alabama, though. I was right about that.
Yeah, that's a tiny, tiny consolation prize indeed. It's like walking out of Wheel of Fortune with a peppermint stick. But, man, 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court is likely to appoint anywhere from 2 to 4 more justices. What is America headed for, in your opinion?
Viktor Orban's name, Tim.
Huh?
He's been hanging out with Viktor Orban. What do you think is going to happen to this country?
People say he's going to be like some of those dictators. That's the Hungarian guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just named the Yahtzee of Europe.
Wow.
Trump called his name in the debate. You don't think we're about to go through a drastic change?
Well, at the end of the day, I don't know what country Trump is going to deliver us, but I will say this. If he does any of the stuff that you're concerned about, you can't blame anybody but the American people. It's not like he ain't been saying this stuff. We've been calling it a joke or it's taken out of context. But it's not like he said one thing and then went and did something totally different. Everything you're talking about, you get it because he's been saying it. Huh?
Part of me thinks they deserve it.
Well, it's what they voted.
Trump didn't pull 50% of women anywhere, though.
No, but he pulled a line. He pulled a line.
No, I'm telling you, I saw the breakdown of the numbers. It was close, but overall it was more than 50% voted the other way of women. It was primarily men. Shockingly, Hispanic and Latinos.
Blacks too. I mean, well, he got like 18% of the black vote, which is probably mostly men. I don't know the Hispanic lowdown. I'd be curious to see what that is, because Hispanics is shocking.
Because it was so negligible on the black community when you read the listing for it barely even listed margins. I was really shocked.
Yeah, he didn't win by.
It listed white people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, and other people. And the other people were all in huge numbers too. All the percentages were way up.
Yeah, and I see in the comments, Will G says that was George W. Bush that cost people homes with their policies. Yeah, I don't know anything about what Obama did to cost people their homes.
And y'all can say it's not true, but y'all can find it in, I think it's either the New York Times or the Washington Post. They got a breakdown percentage-wise of gender, race, age.
Yeah, well, he did very well last night. That is a genuine red wave. Yeah, I mean, do you think there's a possibility of a federal abortion ban now, though?
Oh, yeah.
Several states voted in favor of it.
J.D. Vance is standing behind Trump, and Trump babbles like an idiot.
Wow.
Here's my prediction. Trump won't be in office 2 years. J.D. Vance will replace him. We'll have no-fault divorce and a complete abortion ban.
Jeez. In 2 years.
Well, that's all J.D. needs to puppet him, so he can take those 2 years and have 2 more terms.
Wow.
And then Heritage Foundation has control of this country.
Like I said, it ain't like he wasn't saying some of this stuff, so.
And after what happened over the last weekend of his running, the representation, if you know what I'm talking about, at Madison Square Garden.
No. Not exactly.
And the microphone, I mean, and what he said about Liz Cheney. And they still voted for him, so they deserve what they're getting.
Well, they obviously wanted him.
Fine. My husband's wealthy. You know, I meet their criteria. It's not me that's gonna suffer.
Fair enough. I can hear it in your voice, though. I can tell you're certainly not happy. I can certainly hear that. I'll move it on, Andy, but this is where we at.
Person of my word, and I did come to tell you, congratulations to your beloved MAGA. And like I said, we'll see how this plays out. Nice knowing you, Tim.
Appreciate it. It ain't that bad. God damn, girl, you about to make me break out in tears.
I'm thinking about moving to Toronto. My husband's company has an office there.
Moving to Toronto. How easy is it to do that? Can you just...
He'd get a visa and we could be going in less than 3 months.
And they'll let you stay like that indefinitely?
My husband is a very high talented gains for any country.
So he has something.
For living, he is a senior computer software architect.
Fair enough.
So
all right. Well, we'll be talking, I'm certain, because there's going to be all kinds of controversial shit coming on, as Mr. Rogers would say. There'll be things that will...
I'm thinking about leaving the app.
Huh?
I'm thinking about leaving the app. I've done what I came to do.
Wow. Man. Andy? All right. Take care. Take care. Wow.
Peace out, dude.
All right. Appreciate it. Moving on with the program. That was probably one of the most sad losers, because I mean she supported Kamala Harris, so she lost in that election. That was probably one of my most sadder viewers I've had. Me and Andy go way back. She's been calling the program for quite a while. She's always welcome with the program, but she really is distraught. Certainly she was, believing that women's rights need to be at the forefront. So she certainly got exactly the opposite of what she was hoping for. And she does indeed sound very, very disappointed. Very disappointed. I got to assume there's more. I haven't seen The View this morning. I'm dying to see that because I know those ladies are disappointed. Whoopi Goldberg. Actually, all 4 of them. One of them used to work for Trump. And she stated yesterday she was voting for Kamala Harris. So all 4 ladies on The View. Whoopi, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin. I can't think of the woman's name that used to work for Trump. But all of them are very, very upset this morning, I'm sure. I have to watch it. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate, we didn't get to 100,000. I kept begging you folks to tap the screen on TikTok. I just couldn't get you guys to show the program some love. We should have been around 10,000 likes. That did not happen. Some lazy thumbs in the program. Very unbearable. Always yelling, says you talking about The View? To me, if you're going to say that The View is unbearable and there's always a lot of yelling, I'm assuming you don't watch Judge Jeanine Pirro on Fox, The Five. Same thing. Jesse Waters talks over the guests. Same thing. I mean, The Five and The View are kind of opposites of each other. If your favorite of Five or even Harris Faulkner's outnumbered on the Fox network as well, but you don't like The View, then you just want to hear opinions from the right. Because they're very similar programs. The View also talks about other women's issues that are not politically inclined, but the first two segments of The View is essentially the same thing you would see on The Five, just with a Democratic lead. It's the same thing. On the Five, you got one Democrat who's really a fairly soft Democrat that doesn't really push the envelope, and the right just talks all over him. That's what happens on The Five. The opposite tends to happen on The View. It's the same thing. You'll be fine, Andy. Don't worry. She's talking about moving to Toronto. She don't think she's going to be fine. Look it in the comments real quick. Andy, focus on God. He's always been the answer. Anyway, well, if God was going to do something, she might suggest he wouldn't have let it happen the way it's happened already. Jack Smith in talks to end Trump cases, says Denkow. If it's coming from Denkow, I believe it. Jack Smith is in talks to end, Trump has already promised to fire Jack Smith. Might as well end the cases. They ain't going nowhere anyway. He can pardon himself. It's a waste of time. Now, I know a lot of my beloved MAGA, as I always say, believe that the Trump cases were all a witch hunt anyway. Maybe they were. I don't know. I don't buy into that. But as I've said on the program many times, I need to actually hear the evidence the prosecutor is presenting before it's a witch hunt. Maybe you actually did do something wrong. I mean, but the fact that you're trying to silence the case as opposed to proving that you're innocent and it was bullshit, to me, that pushes against it's a witch hunt. I don't know what Jack Smith had. We'll never know because the case is never going to come to light. Might be in a tell-all book after Trump is dead and gone. I mean, I'm sure that I don't think Trump's 100% innocent on all of this shit. I don't believe that he would have been charged for some of this stuff if he was not running for president. Yes, some of it is because they didn't want him to get reelected. But I don't believe all 80 some of those charges, every single one of them, he's innocent of them either. I do believe once he passes on, there will be tell-all books that will come out and say, actually, he actually did do this or did do that. I believe that'll come out. Melania Trump has Melania Trump alone probably has an eight-figure book deal anytime she wants it. But we won't know about any of that until Trump's out of power. America as we know it will be over soon. Chris, wow. You think it's that bad? You think Trump's going to fundamentally change it? Now, they were saying that about the liberals too, with transgender surgery and all this. They were saying the same thing about the liberals. I don't know if it's going to be that bad. Here comes all of the January 6ers back in society. By way of yes or no in the comments, a simple wire in. How many of you believe Trump's going to pardon everybody that's serving time for January 6th? By way of yes or no. I think it's safe to assume he's going to pardon some of them, but all of them. I think the leader of the Proud Boys and the leader of the Oath Keepers, they're doing football numbers. So I think one got 22 years in Fed, the other got 18 years. So they're nowhere near getting out. How many of you believe he's going to pardon all of the January 6th participants? A lot of folks are saying yes. Some people are saying most. I tend to think at least most. I mean, you're making a song with them. You're saying it was a good day. It was a love fest. For all of the claims by MAGA that the folks on January 6th that acted up was Antifa, Ray Epps, the FBI. Trump makes it sound like nothing went wrong on January 6th at all. It was a great day. Trump has never blamed January 6th on Antifa, Ray Epps, or the FBI. It's only been his supporters, so we'll see what happens. Downplaying the insurrection is crazy, says Tino. Shit, you might fuck around. It might be illegal to criticize the insurrection, but we're done. Anyhow, I never got to 100,000. I'm going to wrap it up at this point. I do appreciate you folks that have tuned in. Follow the program on TikTok. We'll be on later today because this is still somewhat of a developing story. So follow the program on TikTok. Subscription on YouTube is as well. We're normally here Monday through Friday. We'll go back to that schedule soon because there's no more election in the wake. We were doing every day until the election came up. Well, it's come and gone, and Trump has won by a landslide. Trump has had a very victorious go-round. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Catch you later on today. And also on YouTube, there were agent provocateurs all over that crowd. I watched it on five different live streams on YouTube. It happened. And here's the point about that. I see you said in real time they refused to answer. They refused the National Guard he requested and egged the whole thing on. I got a lot of pushback on that, liberty or death. First of all, you fly out to D.C. You're going to stop the steal. You're stopping Biden from stealing the election from Trump. The whole purpose you're there is to stop the steal and defend President Trump. Some have traveled hundreds of miles to come out there to defend Trump. You hear Trump give a speech. He says, let's go to the Capitol building peacefully and patriotically. It's only a 2-mile walk to the Capitol building. During that 2-mile walk, you totally disregard what the guy said that you came here to defend. And you decide to choose to actually listen to a provocateur like Ray Epps or the FBI, somebody you don't know from fucking Adam, and act a fool. Even though the guy you came to defend clearly told you go peacefully and patriotically. You can't control yourself in a walk that's only spanning 2 fucking miles? To me, that makes MAGA on that day look like sheep. He said go peacefully and patriotically. Why the hell would you be provoked into doing something by Ray Epps? You don't even know what the fuck that is. That's sheep. That is the definition of a sheep. Some dude that nobody knows was able to make them act like that after they all had been told go peacefully and patriotically. Now, going on to the alleged suggestion that Nancy Pelosi was supposed to provide National Guard and she dropped the ball and failed to do her job. Once again, I'm going to point out, you got multiple speakers before Trump. Giuliani, Flynn, Bannon. How many people spoke before President Trump on January 6th? I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 of them? Maybe a span of about 2 hours, 3 hours of speeches before Trump got up there? You requested the National Guard be there. You thought maybe something might go wrong, so I need Nancy Pelosi to provide the National Guard, assuming it was her job. By the time Trump spoke, they had been out there probably 3-4 hours. You know the National Guard you requested is not here. So you requested the National Guard because you feel like you might need extra security. You know that security is not there. Nancy Pelosi has dropped the ball officially. Do you have any duties at all? If you're the president of the United States and you know the person that was supposed to provide security dropped the ball, what do you do if Nancy Pelosi doesn't do her job? Do we just send them to the Capitol building anyway and we'll just blame her for whatever happens? I'm not trying to defend Nancy Pelosi, but I am pointing out if that is the case, and the January 6th hearing suggested it was not Nancy Pelosi's job, but I'm not here to argue that. I am here to argue that what Trump did is irresponsible. Your job is to protect the nation. Why would you send an unsecured crowd that you knew was unsecured, that you knew hadn't been patted down to search for weapons, to one of America's most sensitive targets, the Capitol building? How do you get a pass on that? You can blame Nancy Pelosi all you want, but you know she didn't do her job. Just like you or I, if you or I are at work and our employer tells us to do something and we fail to do it, there is somebody else at your job that has the responsibility to recognize you didn't do your job and then do something else. They don't just keep blaming it on you or I. Somebody else has hierarchy. This guy didn't do what we told him to do. He knew she didn't provide security. Why didn't he do something? Why would you send this crowd to the Capitol building? You know there's no security for them. That's a fuck up in my opinion. Maybe some of you disagree. But to me, it sounds like the mindset was she was supposed to provide national security. She didn't. We'll continue on as normal. If something go wrong, we'll just blame it on her. You're the president of the country. Your job is to keep people safe. Over everybody, you are number one. He just ignored it. I'm going to send him to the Capitol building anyway. And then when things went wrong, well, let's just go blame it on Nancy again. You knew hours before you sent them people to the Capitol building that the security you requested was not there. To me, that sounds like Trump also should be held accountable for that. But I know if you support Trump, you're not going to hear that. But it's not like the lack of security was a surprise. They knew it wasn't there. Why would you send them to the Capitol building? Where all of these sensitive targets are located, knowing that there's no security? I would assume Trump would be upset if somebody was supposed to provide security for him and they didn't do it. It's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. I appreciate you tuning in. I'll catch you later on.